siren storms. Down by the shore, pirates in the port of paradise. Hey, ruined mariners marinated, swinging one north with their heads and fingers sore. Viscera and gore in paradise. Pirates in the bay, taking what they may. Yarn and gold aboard, what decorates indoors. Taking home decor. Please not a word more. It's the pirates of paradise. Ah! Ah!
Oh, that's great. I love that shit. I hope it says now recording, like, when it actually does the shit, like, in the audio. All right, 1, 2, 3 intro, I guess.
Are we gonna wing it?
I guess, yeah. We're just talking, so.
Okay.
Yeah. This is I'm John, and
I'm Quara'e. People call me that.
You can call him Q if you're a real fucking dummy.
You can say my whole last name if you're not a bitch.
Yeah. QC is a little bit better because this boy, that's his whatever. But basically we fucking talk often and for a continuous amount of time, and is that not a podcast? Fucking
no, that's pretty
throw
much
it up somewhere.
No.
If you find it and you like it, keep listening. It'll only get better.
It will only get better. I was gonna say, content-wise, it could. What am I trying to say? It could devolve into a cash grab of sorts, but
that's the goal.
Technically, it would only get better.
The goal ultimately is to just be able to monetize the shit we were doing anyway, if at all, and then also give ourselves, if only be as a promotional tool, like being able to fucking just, I guess, get our names out there more and endorse endeavors with other people, get that clout, as it were.
Yes, it would be lovely to have an audience.
We have we have had many recent interesting conversations that we wish we could have recorded.
No, all of you missed it.
We absolutely could have recorded them.
Actually, in that, like, considering how much effort, like, we're expending right now, as opposed to how much effort we expended the previous times we talked, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's almost identical right now.
Almost.
Almost. Except that Quara'e has a bit of feedback, which is also normal because usually one of us is using like shitty headphones or our speaker phone is on, and so like we get that anyway. So, but it's all on Quara'e's end right now. So
I was gonna say
hearing the more pauses on his end. He says he can talk through the feedback that he's hearing, but fucking, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I'm doing my best.
Crazy by the end of this.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might be a situation like half an hour in, but right now I'm cool.
Yeah, so basically what we left off last time, which none of you will ever have the capacity to unless the NSA recorded us and put it out as a podcast already.
Unless there's a government leaked podcast lost to time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's something else I immediately want to get into. But what we're going to start off with is just what we left off last conversation with each other talking about, which is.
So I believe we're going to talk about the nature of art.
And I don't know. You just want to get into that. What do you mean by the nature of art?
I mean,
there's so many questions contained within that, obviously.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, giving a sentence definition is kind of a bland way to start, but I suppose we needed to clarify both of our positions and together, because I feel like the meat of the conversation is going to be like, what is art, what isn't art, you know what I mean? And you can't really get there without a sentence definition.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I'm right back where we were mentally. Okay. So yeah. That's where I'm at mentally too. Shit, I don't know. Cut that out. Fuck. Allegedly. But yeah, shit. Fuck. Defining art. What is art? I guess something that's just it doesn't have to. I mean, I think we would both agree that intentionality isn't necessary for something to be considered art after the fact. Especially if somebody doesn't consider themselves an artist, or when they make something, it isn't considered art, but historically it can be like appreciated in that capacity.
You see, I feel like we could get into it like right here at the top, because I feel like, what am I trying to say? I don't know. I feel like an aspect of art is intentional. Well, I'm not sure, because I think you can make a beautiful thing by accident, or like a very meaningful thing by accident, but I don't think you can be an artist by accident.
Oh, I don't think you can be an artist, but I mean, I think that things you can do can be considered art. Like, for instance, I guess like my example would be like if somebody, like just kind of talks or like does a podcast or some shit, but they don't consider themselves like a philosopher or a poet, but there's a certain performative aspect to that, and somebody's thoughts could inherently be like poetic, or their like verbiage could invoke some kind of feeling in that capacity, even if their intentionality behind it. I think I like it more as a personal thing. Like I really like watching like shitty fucking thingies. I don't know, like just weird things on YouTube, and I don't know, like often enough it'll be like an old advertisement or something, and I appreciate it so much more as art than they intended it. I mean, obviously they intended it to be like nice to look at and good to hear, but like I appreciate it for different reasons.
I think, I agree with you there. I feel like in that scenario, maybe like, well, it's odd in that I feel like art, I feel like for something to be art, the creator must have intended to, like, I don't know, express some kind of thing. So maybe if you were watching like a re-upload of an old advertisement, then you consider the re-uploader the artist, but that doesn't feel fair.
I don't know if there needs to be an artist. Well, I guess here's the thing.
Maybe like all art is within like a chain of artists. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, at the point where, I don't know, because I wouldn't necessarily consider somebody an artist who re-uploads other people's content as much as like a curator.
Yeah, yes.
But this is the bigger point for me. I'd agree that if you're going to define art by, I mean, because it all depends on the way that you approach it, and I don't really care which way because I don't have any like strong opinions.
Yes.
Nothing matters. So my own opinion is just my own. It's very subjective, and I think we both agree that a lot of art is subjective, even if there are like some sort of universal qualities that attract people to things.
I would agree with that, like at face value. Yeah.
All right, that's good. I don't want to like put that on you, but I feel like that's a pretty neutral statement.
I feel like maybe like I was on some horse shit about like the artist thing, but I feel like art has to be curated in some way in order for it to be art. Like you can have like an event in time and space, and that event on its own might not be art, but I feel like once you curate that event in some way, no matter how, it's art. You know what I'm trying to say? Even if it's just curated in like the human memory or in like the collective unconscious or something like that. You know what I mean?
I would agree, because like the Tank Man photo. I mean, photojournalism is a weird area because it's performative, but it's also, I mean, definitely one of the easiest things to bleed into art. So like the Tank Man photos of Tiananmen Square, obviously, it's just journalism. You're just showing like a dude is standing in front of a tank, but then it's also art in the capacity that it's somebody, it represents the wider movement and the like underlying angst of Tiananmen Square in 1981, and like young China, like those graphics.
Yeah,
this is also my new SoundCloud name. Our podcast name, which is still undecided as of yet, is I declare Young China.
Young China.
Black China, but
definitely could be.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say before I get into like what I was gonna say about art, should we double back at some point and like introduce ourselves, or not introduce ourselves, but like give some kind of I don't know, biographical information to hint at our dynamic, or should we just let them figure that out on their own?
I think it'll come up enough along the way that it won't be prohibitive. Whatever. First episode, it's relaxed. This is probably going to be like bonus content or something at some point, even if it's not the first thing we release. But yeah, no problem.
Mhm.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So
I definitely cut you off more just because of the way we're recording this right now. So please just power through. I'll
you're
try and
cool.
cut
You're
you off
cool.
as much as possible, except obvious points.
Oh yeah, no. I'm talking to you and me again
Yeah.
because of because of the feedback. But what was I gonna say? So I was thinking about. I feel like so art's got like aspects, right? Like art's curatable in that, like, yeah. I feel like the ability to curate art is like an essential aspect of art. You know what I mean? Like if you can't, what am I trying to say? If you can't like transcribe it in whatever form transcription takes for like other people to look at, then I feel like it's not necessarily art. And also I feel like I don't know. I feel like I mean it's kind of a cliche to say that art reflects on the state of the times, but I feel like when I mean this, what I mean when I say the state of the times is I feel like all art reflects on like the potential of things. You know what I mean? Whether it's like a critique of the way things are now as opposed to how they could be, or geez, I feel like I'm kind of wandering in the sentence. Does that make any sense?
I didn't pick up on it, but I also was just a little spacey.
Okay.
Might be related, but I'm unsure. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like all art, I would say, is necessarily related to beauty, and beauty being the ideal. And this might be a fucky definition of beauty, but like the ideal way for things to be, or at least the ideal way for things to be, at least expressed in contrast as to how things are now.
I mean, I don't feel like we're gonna disagree on this point, but I don't think art necessarily has to represent beauty, or I mean, I guess because like obviously there's very grotesque art, right?
True.
And like there's like Holocaust survivor art, and a lot of the stuff that inspired is pretty grotesque, and it is like a critique, but it doesn't necessarily. There's also like a certain element of finding beauty in unconventionally beautiful things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that, but I feel as though well, it's not necessarily like not necessarily like a projection of the beauty in the mind's eye onto the physical medium. I would argue that like even like very grotesque art. Like, have you ever seen there's this I forget who made it, but it's this movie called Tetsuo the Iron Man.
I've definitely not seen that.
But it's about what am I trying to say? It's about I believe it's about a Japanese office worker and also a Japanese metal fetishist who slowly turns like people with like these grotesque metal parts and like these terrible machine dicks. And I haven't seen it, but I saw clips of it and I was made viscerally uncomfortable. But what was I going to say?
But you appreciated it in some capacity?
Yeah, I appreciated it. Like I felt like I feel like I don't know. I would argue that I don't know. Maybe it's not necessarily communicating about like I don't know. I would say that a lot of art is in some way a commentary on beauty, whether or not it's like like a projection of, like I said, beauty in the mind's eye, or saying that like something is like what am I trying to say? Very thoroughly wrong, as in the opposite of beautiful. But I feel like maybe beneath that is the idea that art. What am I trying to say? Art like moves you. You know what I mean? It communicates like
it needs to evoke a reaction of some kind for it to be like valuable. It doesn't even need to be powerful, but like it needs to evoke some kind of reaction, even if it's a mild one. But like no reaction is kind of like, I feel like that's just a measure of how tired the concept, or like how basic or uninteresting the concept that you're executing is. Like here's my example, right? I got into this discussion at a party with Art Drew, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, the one. I don't want to say his last name or whatever now. For whatever reasons. But yeah, basically it's this dude in our town who makes like a lot of. Are you familiar with like the work he does? Like his
I don't think so.
Basically he's he does like photo realism in a really amazing way, because he's like classically trained in that capacity. But which I think if you're a photorealistic artist, it is not valuable for you to be able to have that skill unless you are going to distort it, and he does, and I love that. So he will blur perspective or do basically it would be like if you took a photo and you fucked around with it in Photoshop and you distorted it into something that was interesting in the end. And I love that. Just because if you can capture a frame of something and the frame of something is not inherently important, I feel like photojournalism in that capacity is kind of inherently tired. Because even when I see something cool, I'm not I guess I would agree with it needs to be a pretty visceral reaction, because if you're just taking a picture of something, I'm pretty desensitized to beauty at this point. I can be like, oh, that's cool, but that's going to be the extent of most of what I see.
Do you think I don't think you can be desensitized to beauty. I mean, I think the beauty is the definition of beauty is subjective.
Beauty or whatever, classical beauty, like a picturesque lake or something, or a tree scene. If I lived in a city and I never saw that, actually, I don't know, because if you were geographically isolated, I don't know that you would find that beautiful. You might if you hated where you were, but I feel like you would also find more relatable meaning in the sort of finding beauty in a cityscape or something.
I would have to think about that more thoroughly than I did before I started talking, but superficially I would definitely agree with that. However, I don't know. I would argue that within the definition of beauty, especially the beauty that a lot of art seeks to represent, I don't think you can become desensitized to that kind of thing.
I mean, not completely desensitized, but I mean, for example, there's this Instagram page I follow called I think there's If You High, but there's another one called Pop My Eyes, and definitely my reaction to them, the content that they post, is less and less whoa, the more I see it, just because I take in so much media.
Do you think that's because they're trying to commodify that kind of thing?
I'm not. I mean, you know me, the most cynical guy you know, and I don't really care about commodifying, because that's what this is in some capacity, even if it's just for viewership. But I think it's
Would just you call this commodifying?
I mean, whatever. I feel
strictly commodified.
It's not strictly commodified, because I would have. I mean, I have and would have this conversation without the thing. But
sure.
Fucking, if we can get paid to talk, or even get viewership from talking, fuck it, right? No problem. I don't. Yeah. But I guess that brings me to a larger point, because I don't know if something needs to be recorded for it to be considered art, I don't think it does.
I think somebody needs to see it. I think someone.
I think there needs to be viewership. But I think that if a tree falls in the forest and one person's there and they see it, and they laugh because they're like, a tree falls in the forest or something. they laugh at the irony of that. They're like, it made a sound or some shit. I feel like they could enjoy that in their own capacity, but they don't need to put it on their Snapchat or catch it on a World Star video for it to be valuable in an aesthetic capacity, which is how I would kind of define art.
You would define when you say that how you would define art, you mean as something you said valuable in the aesthetic capacity, right?
Yeah, that's the kind of.
I just wanted to make sure I heard what you said.
I don't think recording it is that important. Knock on wood, holla at your boy, whatever it is. Just because I don't think recording it is that important, or transcribing it, or having it be viewed by a mass amount of people. I don't think that. Yeah, I don't know.
I think I would argue that the quantity of viewership, strictly when I say the word viewership, let's say the quantity of observers doesn't necessarily need to be high, but I would argue that the more people are viscerally affected, the better, or not, what am I trying to say? The more the art is, you know what I mean?
I mean, I would say the more clout it I would just agree. The more clout something gets, the more popularity it gets, and the more people have the same reaction, especially in a capacity, actually either one is pretty valuable to me, because if you can, if you can like affect an extreme reaction from somebody and individually, like without like contaminating your sample, you're just like, yo, check this shit out, it's some art. And then the next person has the same reaction, and you're not just like, check out this really grotesque, like visceral art or something. But then also, I guess if you can get like enough of a cult like reaction or interpretation to the art, I think that's equally valuable, but in a different capacity.
I would have to think really hard about that. But yeah, I do agree in the sense that like how what am I trying to say? Like some Renaissance paintings, specifically like the Mona Lisa and whatnot, like how people will make like pilgrimages to see them. You know what I mean? Like thousands of people, like all the time, like for so many years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, the Mona Lisa is a dog shit painting.
I don't think it's a dog shit painting.
I mean, the facial, it's not that accurate of a representation of what a human face looks like.
I think that painting is much more than an image of a human face, or a representation of a human face, I should say.
Even if it was, though. Even if it was just a representation of a human face.
Well, that's what it is. It's like well, that's what it is at one level of complexity.
Yeah, but yeah, I think does the fact that like it has like the renown as one of the greatest paintings or like one of the most iconic paintings of all time inherently give it more artistic value? Yes and no, I think.
Yes and no, I would say, yeah.
Because you know, I'm all on my like fuck the Mona Lisa shit. Like I would not wait in a line to see it.
I would. Well, not a long one. It depends what kind of day.
Would you buy a ticket and then wait in a line and then like just to do that? Because I wouldn't make a pilgrimage just for that.
I would buy a plane ticket. I would fly there. I would wait in the line, and then I would elbow my way until I was like at the ribbon. You know what I mean? I would pay for that. I would pay to be like. I would pay a lot of money to be the only person in the room with the Mona Lisa. You know what I mean?
Oh, like, me too. I'd make the Mona Lisa watch me jack off like Louis C.K.
Oh man, I was like
wherever you go, so you know.
I was thinking that maybe I could like. I was thinking about what am I trying to say? The idea of like stealing it, and then I feel like my act of having stolen the Mona Lisa would in some way be a greater piece of art than the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, I would agree. Or I think let's use the example of Notre Dame burning because I loved that. I loved that.
I felt so hard neutral about it. I'm not gonna lie to anyone.
I mean, I'm an arsonist, so I love like the aesthetic of it. Just like I don't really care. It's not like, oh, now the Catholic Church is getting justice or whatever. But I think that the image of it burning is like so valuable. And if you were just a viewer there or something and you saw it burn down and there were no cameras that recorded it, I think it would be very like that evokes such a visceral reaction.
Oh no, it would be like
that building's on fire and it's historically relevant and like venerated. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, this is important imagery. Yeah, I would say this is if someone set that fire, I would say that person's probably one of the better artists of the modern day.
Oh, for sure. That person, fuck Banksy. Like that person's a much better street artist.
Definitely a better street artist.
Also, fuck Banksy. He uses stencils. I mean, whatever. I might use stencils at some point, but
I was gonna say if I were making. I kind of like the idea of using stencils because, like, I like the idea that, like, you're like, you know, like, what am I trying to say? Of like combining like the like perceived spontaneity of graffiti with like a terrifying amount of forethought. Maybe terrifying isn't the right adjective.
I just think it mediates the spontaneous nature of graffiti too much.
I think it's a different. I would argue it's a different form. I don't think you would call that like graffiti anymore. It's like in the style of graffiti, definitely.
It's not even really in the style of graffiti because of the sort of spontaneity of graffiti. I just don't like the way that. I mean, whatever. The medium's just being used like normal paint is basically my problem. Like if you took like a normal brush and painted over the stencils and just did like a little bit of work with shading, you could get virtually the same effect.
That's true.
Drip some excess paint, have it drip down, and it would look kind of graffiti-ish. But
if I were, if like,
yeah.
what if Banksy like saw like, what if he saw like a rusty pipe or something like that, and he had like an idea? He took a picture of the rusty pipe, went home, made the stencil, came back under the cover of night, and then did it like in one day. Like, I don't know how he does it, but if that were the process, would you like feel better about it?
I mean, I like it. I just don't like it as like a graffiti style art, but I do like it as art in general because I like murals and stuff. But
I mean,
yeah,
I would call it something different. I don't like
he's
that
not
he's
one of my
making
favorite
commentary.
graffiti artists.
Oh, please continue.
Oh, he's just not one of my favorite graffiti artists. That's basically it. He's one of my.
Oh yeah.
I like the art. I like the way he incorporates natural elements of the environment, but I don't necessarily value it as graffiti art
Yeah.
in like the spray in like the spray paint capacity.
I agree and disagree. I don't like Banksy a lot because I wish he were more of an actual vandal. Like, I wish people didn't like
Oh,
him.
for sure.
I wish he ruined stuff. You know what I mean?
This is something I was thinking about earlier, and I would respect him or like any artist that did this. Artists who like have their paintings on the market. So like if Van Gogh, right, like saw his painting in a gallery and went back and he's like, oh, that wasn't finished. That was a work in progress. And then he just mutilated it, like like not mutilated it, but he was like to the art person who did it, just fucking destroyed it. I think that would be super interesting.
Wait,
like if he
you
just
mean,
painted like a fat cock on like that one field of wheat.
Oh! I thought you meant like destroyed, as in like physically destroyed the painting, but you mean destroyed as in like modified it in a way that made it super different from what they thought the finished painting was?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I do kind of like that idea because, like, as a person who sometimes makes things, if someone were like, "Can I buy that from you?" I'd be like, "No, it's not done." You know what I mean? Or if I told them that it wasn't done and then I like modified it and they were like, "This isn't what I wanted," and I'd be like, "This is what I intended." And I feel like the intent of the artist in some way is, well, definitely. I feel like the perception of art is important to like the piece itself, but also I don't know where it should be placed in a hierarchy with the intention of the artist. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the intention of the artist is great.
I think intention of the artist is almost worthless when it comes to individual interpretation of art, because my chest piece, like my chest tattoo, is like, I don't agree almost at all with like the original meaning behind the painting, which was that like it basically it's like a dude walking away from the church, and like he's so like he thinks that the world is like robbing him, because so there's like a little pygmy like cutting his purse behind him, and like he's wrapped in a globe. It's super cool. It's called The Misanthrope by Peter Bruegel, if y'all want to look it up. Fuck, well, what's that Eddie Bravo shit he always says? I think it's just look it up. Or look into it. Look into it. Yeah. The Misanthrope, Peter Bruegel, 1542. Look into it. But shit. But the original like interpretation of the painting is supposed to like paint somebody who like has a negative view of society as like a danger to himself and others. Because like in the background of the painting, there's just like a farmer tending to his sheep, and it's supposed to be about like how the virtue of the farmer is so much greater than the misanthrope, because like the misanthrope is ultimately self-destructive, and he's like so obsessed with being upset that he doesn't like notice the obstacles in his path. Like there are just like some thumbtacks, like fuck, the Kid Flash from The Incredibles.
Yeah.
What's his name? Fuck.
Dash.
No, it's definitely Kid Flash.
That's what he is. For sure.
Kid Quick is
Fast boy.
Kid Bisquick over there is just slathering on the yeah, whatever. There's just some tacks or whatever in his path. Some what are they called? Caltrops?
Caltrops.
Yeah, just some little fucking things to step on. But the reason I got it, as the most cynical person you know, as my first tattoo, was the basically I value it as like, I mean, because in the painting, the world is robbing him. There's a little dude behind him fucking cutting his purse. And then also his like view that the world is ultimately evil is absolutely true because there are fucking things that were put in his path. Like, these are man-made objects.
Okay, so
And then
what
he's
you're
also like
trying
walking away from like the broader society too, and like, because who wants to be a fucking farmer?
So
Fuck that.
you're saying that like you value that art enough to put it on your body. However, the value of that art is entirely found like by you, at least in your own interpretation of it. And so the original artist, what am I trying to say? His perspective can fuck off, is what you're saying, relative to your tattoo, right?
I do value his perspective in relation to my own. Like, I like the fact that it's on my body because it's on my body. When people ask what it means, because it's a relatively obscure painting or like wood cutting, I think it is. I can just be like, this is what it means to me, and then I can also explain like, this is what it initially meant, and this is why I like claimed it for myself. This is why it's me. Like, I like that a lot. But also, shit, I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't think an original artist's intent means nothing, but if Moby Dick was just some shitty story about like a dude whaling and then dying, but people liked to talk about it enough, like, it needs to evoke enough of a reaction that people can read into it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if people's ability to read into it is necessarily about it evoking act. Like,
sure. I would say, like,
I think it's about
as long as people can, I don't know. It doesn't matter what people think as long as they think, is kind of my thought. But
I don't know, but I think making people think is like, what am I trying to say? I think that problem rests in the lap of the artist and the artist alone. Because you can't think for very long about things that don't have depth, and the amount of depth that a piece has, like partially intentionally and partially like subconsciously, is like, what am I trying to say? That all falls on the artist.
I wouldn't say it all falls on the artist, but I mean, what I think,
I'd say
just
the majority.
catching people's eye enough that they'll talk about it, because people can ascribe meaning to anything.
That's true.
Like, live, laugh, love. Like, I don't think the people who fucking get that tatted like on their neck and shit, on their right under their boobs, right across their nipples, just like, you know, fake eyebrows, like tattooed eyebrows.
Yeah.
But like that is their like pubic hair. People who get like live, laugh, love, home is where the heart is.
Well, I think those people are dumb. Well, I don't know. To the
samurai.
Yeah, I think those people are they're not very sophisticated individuals. No offense to them, but their level of complexity is low.
Yeah, basically like Visco philosophy or like Visco art collecting, I think.
Visco is super funny as a medium, and we should talk about that on a different episode.
Not a different episode. We should get into it now, but not now.
Okay,
in like 5 seconds, because it's spontaneous. We're on that. But I think that the like bare minimum aesthetic value that those people have is enough. Like, as I don't care like what they're putting on there. Like, the fact that they're curating art, like, it's democratized the curation of art in some capacity, I think is great. But then, like, great in that there's more art to appreciate, but also it's kind of vapid a lot of the times. And almost all art is vapid. Like, I'm not the one to put a line on it. Like, vapid is just, it's relative, you know, whatever. If you like find value in like, she loved, he lied, or whatever. Like that shit. Whatever it was. What's that thing called?
I'm sorry?
Like, she loved, he lied, or something. But loved doesn't have an I or an E in it. Oh no, he lied, she believed. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
With it? It's literally just like the words she believed, but he lied are like capitalized.
Oh yeah, okay. So
or like put in brackets or something.
I'll read do you want me to read the Urban Dictionary entry really quickly?
Oh, please.
Okay, a single two-word phrase that contains both the phrases, quote, he lied, and, quote, she believed, describing the stereotypically common occurrence of a male lying to a female for personal gain, and then a female believing the male because she is naive. I feel like, what am I trying to say? Oh yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, it said what I was going to say right after. This phrase can be interpreted as offensive to both sexes, painting males as devious, untrustworthy creatures, and females as gullible fools. Both of those things I think are accurate.
Yes, but people who listen to Billie Eilish fucking love it.
People listen to. Can I tell you the truth?
What?
And wait, hold on. I don't know if I should say this on the podcast.
Go for it.
I was gonna say, I know who Billie Eilish is because of one meme that I found on Instagram, and it was really, really funny. And so it's essentially, you all can find this on your own. The meme is it's a video of Billie Eilish being sexually suggestive, and then the main, like, remember the black dude in the first Transformers? He's Googling what age she is, and then it says that she's 16, and then the scene happens where the SWAT team bursts.
Oh, I love that meme for fucking great. Yeah, that's phenomenal.
It's so good.
But it doesn't matter because you're like, what, 19 now? So like, yeah, whatever. That's legal. Also, she's a superstar, so she can, like, she can buy liquor at a store and not get fucking carded because, got that money.
True.
She has that Benjamin Franklin ID.
Oh yeah. Well, what am I trying to say? Also, she's
like a George Washington, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Got that Instagram follower ID.
True. Also, she's gonna be 18 like this year.
Oh,
that's
probably.
A thing to say. I'm not counting down for the bullet.
When is she 18? When is she 18?
November 18th or December 18th. I'm not counting down.
Oh, okay. That's not that soon, but also pretty close. Whatever, 6 months, give or take. Whatever. Yeah. I'm 18, so I can say that. But also, I don't fucking.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
When's your birthday? I forgot. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. Just keep an eye out on Snapchat, and you can see the little cake next to my name because I'm gonna be shaking it for dollar bills on that. I'm gonna plug my PayPal dress up in like just a fucking like tank top or something and squeeze my man titties together.
Oh yeah, no, full of regular, that one girl that we know who is a private Snapchat that we can't talk about.
Oh, I saw her today when I went into my class, and I was laughing so hard because, like, I was like, "Oh, you're in this build." I didn't say that to her, but like I saw this person with hair, and I was like, "That looks familiar," because very distinctive hair.
Yeah, super distinctive hair.
But I was like, "Oh, I think I know who that is." And then she turned around, and I was like, "Ah, hell yeah!" So I'm gonna write some things down real quick. So we need to get to Visco and then Billie Eilish. Since we're on Billie Eilish, I'm just gonna continue. She has this song Zanny that I've
never listened to any of her music.
Oh, okay. Basically the song's about how she doesn't need drugs to feel good because all her friends are just trying to get high to avoid. Like, are you not thinking about the world enough to like realize the terror that you should be feeling?
Oh yeah, no, like I was talking to my mom the other day, and I was like, if you haven't thought, oh, the world is so bad, I should kill myself, it's because you're not thinking hard enough. Like, I'm not saying, like, I think the solution of killing yourself because the world is bad, or the conclusion that the world is so bad that nothing should exist, is wrong. But if you haven't come to that conclusion at least once in your just mental perambulation, I think it's because you're not a very sophisticated human.
Yeah, I would more or less agree with that. I'm just trying to find a meme I screenshotted right now, and I'm pissed because I know I threw it in a group me, but I don't want to go way back and find it. Maybe it's a download. Did I download this meme? Definitely not. I have to find it in the fucking group me that I posted it in. That's just a pain. Do you know if group me, like, I guess I'll find out in a sec. I was gonna say, like, do you know if they like, oh, gallery, yes. Shit. But yeah, basically the song, I think it just ultimately like doesn't address the fundamental like issues that lead people to addiction, which is like usually like lack of social like value or relationship. Like if you're working a shitty job you don't like, if you're like poor, just like general stress and anxiety is like a pretty common like feeling like you're valued less than you value yourself, or you value yourself how others value, or like how others value is like what you're worth. And they might be 100% right.
I don't know how accurate that is.
But yeah, I mean, well, it definitely is. Like,
Well, how do you mean?
sociologists who like study addiction are like, it's real. Like you can basically. I mean, also like obviously with like engineered opiates and stuff, people who like take those have a significantly higher chance than other people to like be addicted to heroin or something down the road. But like there are people who like use heroin irregularly because like their life is good otherwise, but they just like heroin, and that's very strange. It's strange to conceptualize, but yeah, still probably not good for you in any capacity. But
like even no, if you only do heroin every 2 weeks, it's probably still like very not good to do heroin.
Yeah, but I think if you do heroin once a year, you're probably fine. As long
once
as it's
a year,
like, you know,
yeah, I think.
I mean, yeah, I think as long as it's yeah, it's not like fentanyl or something, you're probably Gucci.
Yeah. I'm on Billie Eilish's Wikipedia article, and apparently she confirmed that she has Tourette's syndrome on my last birthday.
I don't know if she does.
I don't know if she does, but she says that she does.
Oh, definitely doesn't. Because like I watched a full interview with her, and maybe like ADHD or some like autism spectrum stuff where she just screams shit out, but it wasn't really spontaneous. I don't know. I guess because shit. What is it called? Because you can have twitches too, right?
I was gonna say. I think it's because a compilation of her tics are merged online or something like that. I'm gonna try and find the tick compilation.
The keystrokes on my computer are definitely going to be in the audio. It's so annoying. They're so loud. Or like
do you have like big ka-chunk keys, or is it just like a surface thing?
It's just the proximity to the mic, and then like also the sensitivity of the mic. Shit.
Oh geez, my volume is probably so loud.
Okay, here it is. It's called the meme I was looking for that I was about to fucking search through like 6 months worth of a group me to find is a Billie Eilish song called "She's Broken," and I don't even know if it's fucking real. To be fair, so I'm gonna Google it. But if I could easily, oh shit, it is. It's real. Okay, there's a Billie Eilish song called "She's Broken," but he and okay are like capitalized, so it's like she's broken, he's okay. And then there's a bunch of comments from it, and they're like, that song title is so clever. What the hell? It probably would have taken me 3 years to come up with a song title that clever. I love how the title says she's broken, but also says he's okay.
I feel like
and then they
John, can you hear that in the background?
On their Visco.
Wait, John, can you hear that in the background?
What?
Does it sound like there's music playing?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay, cool. My roommate's just playing video games. I just didn't know.
Oh no, it's cool.
Anyway, what was I gonna say? I feel like I feel like that's dumb. I'm not trying to make a harsh judgment, but I feel like the person that said that, their brain is full of shit.
They're either dumb or it's a joke. But this is the thing I wanted to say. I love the idea because like Billie Eilish is a kid, right? So
yes.
I love the idea that like her song Zanny specifically, where she's like, I'm like I think it's like on designated drives home, only one who's not stoned is like a line in it. And I think it's hilarious if like the reason she's like, oh no, like all my friends are doing drugs, but not me, is like for her mom.
Oh, I was gonna say, apparently she's straight edge too.
That's the thing. I don't believe her.
I don't know if I believe it either. She's got too much money and too much fame to not be some kind of not so good.
Yeah, like it's not like she came from the streets or something and she's like, I saw crack, it fucked people up. Like
yeah, no. She's just she's got, if she's not on anything, she'll be on something soon.
It's like it's like I'm not on drugs because everybody, or like I don't know. I think it's like, like those Japanese like boy bands that are like, I don't fuck, but like they fuck.
Mm-mm.
But they say that just so like they can keep like an audience of international young women as their fans. Like how the Jonas Brothers had promise rings for a minute.
Oh yeah.
And
Hey,
now they're
wait.
on Barstool Sports with their cocks out.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say they were for sure champs the other day, right? Or not the other day, but you know.
Yeah, I think a week to a month ago.
Mm-hmm. Dude, wait. I was like, I'm still on her Wikipedia article, and apparently, Eilish cites Lana Del Rey as one of her major musical influences.
Oh no,
Isn't
I can
Lana Del
hear it.
Rey
They
like an
sound.
engineered pop star?
I'm not sure. Her
I don't know.
her music is very, very slow and very, very simple.
Mm.
So if she, I mean, it's enjoyable, but I liked like I like covers that people I know have done of her music more than I like hers because like it required acoustic like strumming and stuff. But like it's literally just like a boom boom. It's like three or four like not even chords, like bass notes.
Yeah.
Just switch between and like let them drone out. But yeah.
Yeah. I get like a lot of music is super duper simple now that I think about it.
And I don't
'Cause
think that's a bad thing. I enjoy some very, but
Oh yeah, no. But I also like I was sometimes I like to listen to music that's a nightmare, you know.
oh, for sure. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Death Grips.
Like
Fuck that. Death Grips. For those of you listening, look into it.
Look into like very seriously look into it. Maybe start with ex-military question mark or
Maybe start with fuck Houses on Fire. My favorite album by them. Nobody
I feel
loves
like
you, you'll die alone. I have no money, but I still have crack.
That's oh man, I feel like that's definitely a bit that could be done. My favorite Death Grips album.
I died in the military.
uh,
I've been following this pit for like 89 minutes.
Kissing Blood, the musical, the Death Grips album.
I don't know, dude. I just killed a chicken.
Eating, I pulled an octopus out of a tank and took a bite out of it. It's my favorite song.
That one normal store that you use money at. I think somebody calls it Target.
That's my favorite. That one's my favorite.
There are no
I don't
stores
get
left
hugs. I use
because
the internet a
Amazon
lot.
killed them all.
Yeah. These are good bits. These are solid ones. But definitely look like definitely potential audience members look into Death Grips for sure. What would you say like actually is the best starting
album? The best of their albums?
Or like the best album to start with?
The best album to start with, I don't know. I feel like Ex-Military is kind of basic at this point, but it could just be biased because I've heard it so many times. And also, if you know Charles Manson at all, and that freaks you out because people don't know anything when they talk about him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll write that down too. Charles Manson. Yeah, fuck yeah. Also, fuck no, I don't want. I think Mussolini. I think Mussolini is the guy I'm thinking of. Looked real cute as a young guy.
Like how young?
I have his photo on my phone because I downloaded it a minute ago. I need to find out who it is specifically to verify. But yeah. Shit. What was I saying before Mussolini? No clue.
We were talking about Charles Manson because we were talking about Death Grips because we were talking about complex music.
Oh yeah. Because Charles Manson is on there. More info.
Wait, one second.
Oh, it's Stalin. Yeah, Mussolini was an ugly fuck. Young Stalin. Google a picture of young Stalin. Oh my God, he's a dimey.
Oh, young Stalin was definitely a cute boy.
Yeah, no, that's all I'm trying to be in life.
Young Stalin.
I just want to look like young Stalin. I might just put that as my. If I ever re-download Tinder, which I probably will when I'm fucked up, either emotionally or biochemically. There's no difference actually.
There is no difference.
It's just means of ingestion, but yeah, same chemicals.
Yeah. Same chemicals.
Yeah. When I re-download Tinder, I'll just use the photo. I'll probably use it, in the thumbnail for this.
Oh yeah, no. We should talk about Tinder at some point because I feel like Tinder is what am I trying to? It's definitely the saddest thing I do every day.
When I have it, I agree. Let's get into Visco though, because we mentioned it, and I feel like it bring it up in the episode.
Oh, I feel like
Visco,
what am I trying to say? I feel like
you
Visco
definitely
is.
need to talk more too. That's on me.
I'm sorry. My bad. But I feel like Visco is definitely super interesting in that it seems to be like, what am I trying to say? It seems to be like a, it's almost like a, it's like an unintentionally sexually segregated social media platform, which is super interesting.
Okay, if you want, I mean, you like a good Jordan B. Peterson. The one thing I think is valuable says is like when he talks about like makeup and stuff as somewhat unintentional sexual signaling or whatever. I think for the most part, young girls are more about more or less. They're definitely as angsty as like teen boys, but like in a different way.
I don't know that that's true. It depends on how you mean
angsty, but not horny. I mean horny, but like not in the same way. I think that they're angsty, but it's a different angst. It's not angst is a broad category, and they're on one.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I feel like definitely like teenage dudes are like for sure more aggressive, but I feel like teenage girls have like a higher potential for like emo-ness, as that is a thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. In some capacity, even if it's like some entire weekend neo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Scott Pilgrim emo, like.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I would say I believe I would.
Or like grunge or whatever. It's all a pretty.
It's a broad spectrum. It's a broad spectrum,
but still, if you named, I feel like you could name 3 or 4 things, and you'd be like, yeah, like mirrors.
Yeah.
Flowers.
Yes.
Motivational quotes. Or like demotivational quotes included in that. Tumblr screenshots. Trying to think what else.
I think that's and also like half nudes.
More than that. Like
it's more than half. Like 7/8 nudes.
I'll say 3/5 nudes.
I like that. I like your proportion better.
Because like when a girl turns like 18 but is still in high school, she'll get the nipple piercings, show them off like through a very sheer shirt, but like you can see the piercing, but you can't see like all the other shit, but like it barely matters because it's whatever. It leaves very little to the imagination.
What more do you need?
Like you think you're gonna open it up is what I was gonna say, but you think like you're gonna peek under that curtain and it's gonna be like, oh, actually, it was Dwayne Johnson's peck.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the nipples just it's just like a wooden toggle, like a jacket has. That's why it's like horizontal or whatever. It's just so that you can secure your shirt to your body and you don't have to buy suits.
It's so you can geez.
It's like a cufflink.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, but I would like just to say, if you have a Visco, everyone you know and most people you don't who are in your area and who are aware of you have seen it.
Oh, for sure. And like, what am I trying to say? Visco's not even a convenient. It's not even a convenient like platform to use.
Oh yeah, I hate it because I only use it in my mobile because I refuse to get the app. And also, okay, this is a tangent. Fuck any platform that makes you download their app or register an account to view the content on it.
Oh yeah, where you like need to in order to use that app in like a non-horseshit manner.
Yeah, because like no, even some like at all. I mean, because
Oh,
if you scroll on Twitter for long enough, like I don't think you can view replies to a post. You can only view the original post. Because I don't have a fucking Twitter, but like sometimes if somebody mentions like a tweet or something, I'll check it
yeah.
out.
Unless you have a Twitter, you can't look at Twitter, which I think is fine.
You can look at Twitter, but like it's very limited. And
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
I
that's
think
what I mean,
after a
that's what I
while,
mean.
it's like, while you're here, why don't you join? Like, nah.
Yeah, why don't you just make a Tinder and like, or I'm sorry, make a Twitter? And I'm like, I don't want a Twitter. If I wanted a Twitter, I would have a Twitter. I'm just trying to read other people's tweets.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to be white boy of the month, but not Twitter is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, like Visco on their mobile site, like on their mobile, like if you type in somebody's thing in like Google Chrome on your phone, it'll like pull up a thing, at least on Android, where it's like download our app and like cut it off after like 2 or 3 posts. I'm like, well, fuck you. I was doing some heavy creeping here, appreciating the aesthetic value of this person's artistic choices with my cock in my hand. But you know. But you know, just appreciating art.
Oh jeez, oh jeez. These are things we say on the podcast.
Yeah, I guess. These things locker room talk. Yeah.
Oh man, oh man. Oh yeah, I'm on oh, did I mention that I got an iPad?
You mentioned you were going to. I didn't realize you actually did.
No, I have one. And it's
I can see that you're on like a mobile device, but I assumed it was.
What'd you say?
Oh, I can see that you're on a mobile Discord, but I didn't know that. I assumed you were just on your phone.
Oh no, I'm on my phone on Discord, but I have my iPad on my table to like look up stuff.
Oh, that's fair. That's a good combo. That way you're not like bumping the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
I didn't want to have to like move my phone.
It might be better the other way around, but also it's a bigger surface, so I understand it.
Yeah, I was gonna say like when it comes to how we record this, I can try it out because I have like 3 different devices and I'm gonna buy a microphone at some point. So it's just a matter of
Just bit my lip. Ow.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna buy a mic at some point soon too. Soon's relative, but you know.
Yeah,
soon enough. I don't think the audio quality is the
before
highest.
People start listening to this.
Yeah. Yeah. But okay. Yeah. So anything else on Visco really?
Dudes and Viscos? Like, would you have a Visco? Because I don't think I would.
And you're a dude and you're straight.
Oh yeah, if you're a head.
What? You still there? Quara'e. God damn it, his phone died.
And
what? You're back? Okay, cool.
Oh, what?
Oh, you just cut out completely for a second. You said if you're a straight dude and you have a Visco.
Oh wow. Hey, hold on. I think you cut out for a second. Well, for me, you cut out for 1 second.
Okay, well, you're back now. Just talk. Want to make sure you're still here, still with us.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like if you're a heterosexual male, you have a Visco. I don't think you exactly understand the platform.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the dudes who do that are kind of like, oh.
Or well, if you like follow people on your Visco.
Oh, that's baller. That's sliding in the DMs, but like, you know how like, have you ever heard about like some really strange ways that people will like message their exes or whatever who have blocked them?
Oh, like bank transferring them like 1 cent or something like that?
Oh yeah, like hitting their Venmo or something to message them. I once
did that.
Or like,
did I ever tell you that story?
No, I didn't. Oh no, I think you did. I think that's probably why I'm aware. But like people will use like LinkedIn or some shit. Like they'll message somebody on like some very obscure niche
like something that's not for that.
Yeah. They'll like
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, they'll like email you or something. Get on Xbox Live or some shit and like message you.
Oh yeah, I think what am I trying to say? I sent I forget what her name was, and it's probably for the best that I don't say it, but I think her name was Lindsay something, whatever. I sent her like $1.07. And then also my number and
Snapchat. Do you mean
No, not a Lindsay Wiener.
Guitar? What?
Long-haired glasses guitar? No, not a Lindsay that either of us know, like a stranger.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I
Oh
know
no.
Lindsay, and they're strange, and I've heard bat. I mean, I don't know. That I won't. I don't. Shit. Bad's relative. Definitely weird. Heard weird things, but also definitely overblown. Related. Fuck. I might just have to cut this bit out. Shit.
Edit
thing
point.
I heard. You should
Yeah.
Google it. Inverted nipples.
Oh wait, I'm familiar with them.
You're familiar with inverted nipples?
Did you not know what they were?
I didn't know they existed until somebody was talking about them, and they're like, "Yeah, no, this person has inverted nipples." It's like, what the
Wait,
fuck?
John, we might have to cut this bit out. You can't talk about all that. I think we have to draw the line in talking about other people's nipples.
I mean, we can just 1, 2, 3 inverted nipples. What do you think about them? What do you think? Because I don't even understand. Like, I've seen pictures and I don't understand functionally how it would work.
I think you just gotta I think there's you gotta mush them to get the nipple to come out.
Is that how it works? I assumed like it just got hard inwards or something.
Do you want to go on the what am I trying to say? Let's go to the Wikipedia article. I'll go to the Wikipedia article right now.
Sounds good. You're gonna be my info guide on this.
I was gonna say I'm a bit
inverted nipple shaman.
Okay, so an inverted nipple, occasionally called invaginated nipple, which is funny.
That makes sense because it is inverted and vagine.
Yeah. Okay. It's a condition where the nipple, instead of pointing outward, is retracted into the breast. In some cases, the nipple will temporarily be protruded if stimulated. Both men and women can have inverted nipples.
Oh, okay. So it means nothing unless your fucking nipples are soft, which
here are some potential causes. Okay, so you're either born with it. Trauma can be caused, such as fat necrosis, scars, or a result of surgery. It can be caused by breast sagging,
sucking on your little titties, just chewing on your nipples like a fucking trident.
Well, yeah, apparently it can be caused by a bunch of stuff that is a disease, and apparently 10 to 20% of women are born with it. But yeah, apparently it can be like a sign of apparently it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be a sign of a bad thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no. We want to get into this shit because I'm definitely keeping this bit. I'm definitely keeping this bit right here. So speaking of benign afflictions or whatever, you know the YouTube button. I really want to make a meme with this, but not have it attached to my name in any capacity.
Wait. Yeah.
On the top of my dick, not the tip, but on sunny side up. I have a mole that looks or not a mole, but some sort of skin cluster that looks like a beauty mark that looks like a fucking pause button, and that shit's hilarious. Because it's benign completely, or cancer, but I've had it forever, so I've had cancer since birth, gonna die soon.
Yeah. I was gonna say definitely a lot of
I was thinking a YouTube, it's rewind time meme with it, but
that would be pretty funny. You definitely could do something like that.
Yeah. But now that it's out there, I can never post it because it's directly associated with me, and I can't have an image of my cock and balls.
I feel like you can either have that bit or have you can either have that bit here or do it in actuality. I don't think you can do both.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think I can.
Well, especially if people start listening to this.
Oh, it's definitely better here too. I don't know where. I'm not sure how I would format it. I'm not sure.
Where would you even post that?
Probably Reddit or there's a few podcasts that I think it would be appreciated the fan bases of.
Oh, you could send it to your mom's house?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, no, they would love it.
Yeah, I think they'd fucking love that shit. That was something else I thought at some point. just like run through our like YouTube subscriptions because it's weird. That's a very weird thing. Like YouTube and music are both very personal things, but like
True.
something that almost everybody does.
Yeah.
Unlike masturbate, which you can talk about in public as long as it's a bit. My favorite kind of comedy is just like saying crazy shit, but then in a way that's funny enough that people at least laugh, not to feel uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. That's definitely a big bit. Is look at what am I trying to say? It's like you present as long as like you can say I can present my psychotic symptoms in a funny voice, and then they're accepted.
Sure. Yeah, no, like I posted.
You know when you punch the mirror.
Yeah, you know.
You know when you break the mirror with your.
You know when you don't do laundry for 2 months and then you do laundry and break the machine and have to hang your clothes, like have to not even hang dry, but like run a fan over your clothes in an attempt not to get them moldy because you dried them twice and it didn't dry them.
Yeah, no. You ever have your day ruined by a bad dream?
Yeah. Like
That's
a belt
something
on
that
a washing machine breaks because you overloaded it because you didn't want to spend the 175 on 2 washing machines because you're trying to be sustainable.
Oh man. Oh, did I tell you about that? I won't talk about all of that bad dream on the podcast, but I did one thing in it. In the dream, it was a real bummer. Like the rest of the dream is actually a real bummer, but this one part I thought was kind of funny.
All right, go for it. I don't care.
Do you remember what was how do I like remember like we went to do you remember Vietnam? No. Do you remember his name's Jacob. We went to high school with him. Like Jacob
some kind
like,
of just
I don't know how to describe him without saying his last name because his name's very iconic.
Text it to me.
Oh, bet. Okay. Give me like 1 sec. Do you just want me to do it in the Discord or not?
That's fine.
Wait, hold on. Its Messenger was faster than the drop.
Oh, okay. Which one? Oh, like okay, texting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That Jacob.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that one. What?
Yeah. He was in my dream, and he had this ukulele that he really liked, and I was like,
play ukulele?
I don't know if he did in my dream. And he was, you know how he is. Like he's always really chipper, but you hate him because he's chipper.
Oh, he works at Solly Boys.
Oh, hilarious!
Yeah, I love that.
But he had a ukulele, and he was like really excited about having it, and I took it and I destroyed it out of spite, and then I started crying, and that's one thing that happened in my dream.
That is an interesting dream. I like that bit. Was that the entire dream?
No, not even. That's actually a very minor aspect of the dream.
I like that. I like that a lot.
But that was the moment in the dream when I realized that I was the bad guy in my own dream.
I'm a bad guy. That's another Billie Eilish song. Look into it.
Look into it. Oh, but how long have we been going for?
I'm not sure. Probably about an hour 15-ish.
Bet.
Yeah.
But
I do need to continue some baking soon. But yeah, I guess any last thoughts on Visco, Billie Eilish? What else did we cover? Art? We can revisit art because it's a pretty broad topic, but
we could revisit art. Do you have anything
really
left to
the
say
other
about
ones
art?
too? What's up?
Do you have anything hard left to say about art?
I'm trying to think. Nothing concrete.
Wait,
go for it.
Oh, I was gonna ask, like, how? Okay. When it comes to, remember how we talked about how the person who, if there was a person who started, because like I said, I'm super not familiar with the Notre Dame fire because I don't really care about that kind of thing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But and also a lot of people were into it, and the more people are into something, the more likely I am to want to not like it.
Mm-hmm.
But if a person started that fire. Like, remember how we said that person would be like one of the, I would argue that that person would be one of the better artists of the modern day.
I would
Like, where
like
do you
it
think?
if it was somebody who just like threw a cigarette on the ground and it just lit the building on fire.
Oh, that would be fantastic. That
I
would be
feel like that would be
fantastic.
equally as good.
Oh, but I
Something to
was like,
come
here's
back
it.
to when we come back is
Oh yeah.
we're gonna well, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna do an ad read in between, or we can do an ad read and put it in between the segments later.
Yeah.
Um, in the interim, but before we take a little big old dangle break, shit.
We could do like music racks.
Oh no. It was art related.
Oh, okay.
Oh, something we should get into when we come is comedy art, and also, and like in what capacity? How does it differ? Same is like speech art, all that stuff. I feel like that would be
Oh
a good point.
Like I
But
feel
then
like
also,
determining like
because
what creative acts are art.
and just like the very outline or like the outline of my thinking is like I laugh at almost everything maniacally when I walk down the street because I have a drug addled mind. And so what I'm trying to do is walk down the street, see like 4 or 5 people walking alongside each other, like hip to hip, and I just think about head kicking every last one of them. Like there's this scene in a movie called The Raid where there were like 4 people on their knees on a tarp, like 4 or 5 people on a tarp, and this dude just goes, oh, I think it might be like 5 or 6 because the dude just has a revolver and he just shoots each one of them in the head, and then I think he runs out of bullets, so he either has like 5 bullets or like 6 bullets, but he like runs out for the last person, and then he just gets a hammer and smacks him right in the head.
Yeah. I haven't seen The Raid, but I'm very familiar with the fight scenes.
Yeah, but it's not a fight; it's just a fucking execution.
Oh yeah.
That's the first thing that jumps into my head when I see people just behaving it's straight up psychopathic, but the fact that I don't do it means I'm a good guy.
Oh yeah, no. I feel like it's
I'm a
weird because like
benevolent
I
guy.
also what am I trying to say? I define like my morality by like it's like a ratio to bad things I think about doing to bad things that I do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Like
probably the most yeah. So because I mean, just genetically, the amount of people who I feel like
well, I feel like
that's a fair amount of
or I
that's a
feel
good
like it's
metric. That's a fairly
yeah,
good quantifiable tool.
I think it should be like what am I trying to say? It should be like some kind of average of like the what am I trying to say? Of like the ratio of good things that you think about doing to good things that you do, like averaged with the like the bad aspect. You know what I mean? And I think like I guess your good ratio should be over 1 and your bad ratio should be under 1.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel I feel like I mean
I think
obviously we would
yeah.
disagree probably on like the finer mechanisms of that quantification, but
Yeah, I think we would hard disagree if we were to get even a little bit deeper into it.
but I feel like neither of us could put numbers in a very justifiable way. Like we could put soft numbers, but probably not like, oh no, it's 25% of the score is this.
Oh yeah. Like we could definitely put soft numbers.
Like the biggest chunk goes to whatever, followed by this. These are about equal, and then whatever. But I feel like we could still get very much into that. We might. We'll see.
1 second, John. Give me like 1 second.
You want me to just give you a lot of seconds? Because I can just cut to baking right now.
Oh, like sorry, I just had to answer my door.
Okay, no, that's cool. I'm probably just gonna end this, and we'll.
Wait, you cut out for just 1 second?
We're going to commercial.
It's the Pirates of Paradise.
I've only quit one job.
All right, we're talking about quitting jobs. We're back. Baking is still in action.
We're back.
Milkshake's in action. It's disgusting. It's thick. It has cereal in it.
It's going to be a lot of chewing and slurping.
Yeah, mostly chewing, more chewing. It's more like chewing sawdust until it's wet, and then swallowing it than it is drinking a milkshake because of the cereal. Might hork. Yeah. But we're talking about quitting jobs, and I've only quit 2 jobs, but
I've
one of
only
them I
quit
didn't
one.
quit that satisfyingly. And because like one was a summer job because I wanted more hours like in general in the summer. And
Mhm.
so I was like, I will work at like a restaurant in the same parking lot as the grocery store I'm working in. And then both of them were paying me like $7 or $9 an hour, which is fucking robbery. Like, and also they wouldn't like give me like I was making less money once like year like by the time I quit than I was when I started because of inflation.
Mm.
I mean, you know about that.
Yeah. I do know all about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Break it
So
down.
I guess the only time I've ever quit a job was when I worked at Panera Bread in State College, Pennsylvania.
Go
But,
fuck yourself. I still there. I'm talking to you, Quara'e.
I was gonna say talking directly to me, but what was I gonna say? I don't know. I liked working that job, and so I felt bad about quitting. And also, quitting was wrapped up in it was wrapped up in like, oh yeah, it was wrapped up in me moving away from everyone I do.
But can
So-
you talk about how they didn't value you worth a shit?
Oh no, they did. Okay, so when I started, I worked at this Panera for like 2 years, or I believe it was 2 years, a month, and 10 days. And when I started, they paid me $9 an hour, which I thought I was all right with because it was above minimum wage, and I had applied to like 9 jobs that summer, and Panera was like the 9th. And then I worked there for 2 years, and then I as far like I was at the lowest strata of employee in that there were like associates, then trainers, then like managers, night bakers, et cetera, right? But I was like I believe like I would assert, and I believe it's pretty accurate to say that at the time I left, I was their most valuable associate in that I knew
Cost effective, I think is the word we use.
cost effective, yeah, cost effective, because I knew the most stuff and I was paid the least for sure, and I found that out because I asked people.
Yeah, for sure. And I still ask people. Allegedly, people have been asked about pay figures, trying to do some things, pull some strings. Mainly the string around my neck, so I don't have to worry about a job again. I'm talking about that tie. I'm talking about that tie or that suit.
Talking about getting that office job.
Talking about that suicide.
Suicide.
I could be a pseudoscientist.
Pseudoscientist.
Like a fashion designer, you just design suits, but in a very scientific way. Hip to waist ratios.
No, definitely.
Arm padding.
Like it's
massive cod pieces.
It's
big
very
old,
targeted sexual warfare.
Yeah, like Madonna cone tits.
Yeah. Yes. Madonna cone tits for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a truck. I was being
Has anybody like memed the? I'm sure somebody has, but like Madonna's like cone bra. Has anybody memed that into like an ice cream cone? Because if not, I'll do a bad job in Photoshop. Make that. Post it next
John,
episode.
I'll look it up, but I think you might be the first there. In which case, you should definitely do that bad job.
We're Googling. This is the sound of research.
Oh, yeah.
Madonna cone bra ice cream.
No, I looked up cone tits ice cream. No, I don't think it's been done. I think that's a fresh idea caught live.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I think Katy Perry did it in her music video for California Girl in some capacity because they had like cupcakes and stuff. But no, she has not in fact done it. So I might make that.
Yeah, no, really a missed opportunity by Katy Perry.
Yeah. Well, no. Yes and no. Actually, I don't know. It might be in there, but I'm not sure.
Hold on. Now I'm actually gonna look at. Hold on. I wasn't gonna look up the Katy Perry thing, but now I'm going to.
Am I gonna look in the Katy Perry video though?
I'll scroll through it if you don't want to. Because it seems
Sure.
like I'm kind of like the de facto Googler, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about the audio more than anything.
Oh, I'll just
Yeah. But shit, son. Woo. Definitely too loud for all my roommates. Doesn't matter. They're nobody.
Snoop Dogg is in this video, which is I did
Yeah,
not
I know.
remember.
I love it. He's in everything. Kanye West is in her Alien video. Imagine if Kanye West had married Katy Perry instead of Kim Kardashian.
You know what? I think that would be more. I think that would definitely be a more interesting world.
I mean, I remember when he was dating Amber Rose. Like, not remember, but like I was aware of the era before. Like, I think in 2008, wasn't with her yet. I'll do. When did Kanye?
She does
May 2014. What's up?
I was gonna say she does like. I don't think it's ice cream. I think it's a cupcake, and it's not the same format. Like it's not the cone.
Yeah, it's a cupcake. Okay, so that's not been done.
She does whipped cream. Yeah, it hasn't been done.
It would have taken me 3 years to come up.
Wait, hold on, John. You cut out.
It would have taken me 3 years to come up with. That's a callback for those of you who.
For those of you
calling back.
For you back callers. That's what our listeners
so yeah,
are
let's get. Break.
Oh, do you want to hear my fantastic bit about Tinder?
Oh yes. Tinder. I wrote that down.
Oh, okay. You're familiar with the expression "if looks could kill"?
Yes.
I want to like think. I can't think of a. Well, I need your help workshopping a clever way to reverse that. Like if killing ability were attractiveness, or something like that. I feel like that's got the potential to be a really funny one. So what I should rephrase that. I don't have a hilarious Tinder bit. I have like the seeds of what I believe could be a hilarious.
I feel like more than which has been redacted in this episode already, you should not leave your fucking Tinder strategy on the table, because that shit, you don't want it to become like The Office or something. Because the first guy to put like The Office in his bio got a fucking Blumpkin. He's trib.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Liking me? Yeah, no, I do not like the people. Like something that makes me upset about Tinder is I feel like people confuse a lot of stuff with personality traits.
Oh yeah. Person who only posts, or you know what I mean. Person who posts a series of unfortunate event shitty jokes as their Instagram caption. Go fuck yourself. You're not funny. You're not clever. A reference is not a joke, Seth MacFarlane.
Oh yeah, no. A reference is not a joke, and it's no.
It can be, but it has to be like the setup. It's only the punchline.
Like you've got to do work to it.
Yeah. Whew. Oh, that was some other shit we were gonna talk about. So art.
Oh yeah.
What would you consider like comedy a form, or like?
I would say in that
Or does it change your thinking? In that, like, if you laugh at something that's not necessarily, but like it's a kind of a joke you tell yourself, or like a realization of like the absurdity of a situation. I don't know. Would that be kind of art in and of itself? Or?
I feel like I would classify comedy as art. I would say it's definitely high skill in that it's a lot of work to be really funny, especially in a way that you can present to people like when they're not in the room. You know what I mean? Like if you can write a funny stand-up special, I feel like that's it's highly skillful.
Oh,
and it does evoke like a visceral response. So yeah, I guess I would classify it as art.
I ruined my mind. This is basically a side tangent or a little alley in this conversation. But I was I was watching this fucking, like lyric breakdowns,
Hmm.
but it's not like lyrics, it's like rhyme structure.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it'll be like I think Genius does it on YouTube, whatever. Like
Yeah, yeah.
but like they'll just highlight which words fucking in like a rap song rhyme or like in a
Oh yeah, I
pop
believe I've
song.
seen like at least one of those.
And I watched it, and then I watched a How It's Made video, and then I watched like 3 hours worth of How It's Made video, and I became very like focused in and like aware of the like cadence with which people were speaking, and I started hearing people like Charlie Brown, like wah 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 wah, but it was like
Like, yeah.
ba
Like
ba
less is like
ba 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 ba
yeah.
ba ba.
Like less is like yeah, yeah, yeah. Like less is words meant to be meant to convey understanding. Or, let me start that over. Less as words meant to convey information, and more as like just like a thing that makes noises at a certain cadence that are pleasant.
Yeah, but like I can't watch a lot of comedy or a lot of podcasts now because I'll zone out, and I can't. I don't even want to speak right now because I'll. And there are very few people who I've watched who like I can't notice it with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And I
I
don't
feel
really
like
know what it is. I'm not sure if it's their cadence, their rhythm, their like. I think it's pretty much rhythm. It's the rhythm and like tonality is very uniform amongst a lot of things.
yeah,
Or like amongst a single person speaking.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I was in lecture though. I was in like a 9 a.m. lecture, and
Yeah.
I was like hypnotized by it, and I started going to sleep, and I was like, oh boy, this is crazy.
Do you think that's going to be a
That's why
problem?
you don't, and that's the best this is your brain. This is your brain on 3 hours of how it's made videos, and this is why the internet and having more knowledge and exposure is not a good thing.
This is why.
We're not
Please
even going to start on that. We don't have the time.
No, truly, we do not have the time.
Not in the world.
Not in. Well, it'd be like if we got into it about the hard numbers about what makes up a good person or something like that. Another callback to the break.
What did I write down? Did I write down the word Charles? What the fuck does that
For
mean?
Charles Manson?
Oh, I did. Thank you.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
the
no
fuck?
problem.
Why did I write Charles down?
Charles Sheen.
Charles Sheets. Sheets or Wawa? It's Sheets.
It is definitely Sheets.
No, it's Crunchy Munchies. It's Crunchy Munchies. Oh, local business sponsor. It's just a place with like a deep fryer and a square, like card processing unit.
Oh yeah.
Like
they can
I would
take your
not
money
trust
and
them
they
with
can
my
be
credit
fine.
card. I would not trust them with my credit card at all.
Oh yeah, like if they have to
debit,
take it.
But yeah.
Geez, I don't like. What do you? Oh man, what were we talking about just now?
Charles Manson.
Like, what subjects do we have written down to cover in the second half of the pops?
I had Tinder. And art, comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Like comedy is art. Sort of the nature of that.
What do you think? What do you think is the Geez, I don't know. What do you think are like the boundaries of the art category? You know what I mean? Like, I would argue, like, I don't think terrorism is art. Well, I don't think most terrorists are artists. Is that what I you know what I mean?
I would say most terroristic events are, but I don't know. I'm not in the fact that they're. I feel like they could be. Like, I feel like they could inspire something that is undebatably art. And in that capacity, I think they could be in and of themselves art. Like 9/11, right? There's like a giant memorial there, but that memorial wouldn't exist without sort of the artistic event of 9/11 and some of the imagery that came out of it.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So yeah, I don't know. I think because like my opinion is more or less that in the capacity that something inspires art in and of itself art, even if
Yeah,
the intention behind it is like as long as the observation in like
I
an
forget who
artistic
said it.
format.
I forget who said it, and I'll try and find it. But someone once said that like each individual is unknowingly like living out the philosophy written, like articulated by some great philosopher or something like that. You know what I mean? So in that, I feel like maybe the
That's
actions of
something we can get into like that.
Oh yeah, do you want to get into that?
Yeah, but finish your
Well,
thing first.
I was just gonna say that I feel like in that I feel like like any given human action could hypothetically be the muse what am I trying to say out of which some great artistic action comes. You know what I mean?
There's this movie that you would really like. I recommended The Holy Mountain.
Yes.
Another film by the same director. All of his films are pretty nice, actually. Or at least his earlier work. I'm not sure about the. Actually, no, this one was 2013. Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard of him, look into it. But he has like a movie, The Holy Mountain. But more relevant to this is because he was like a poet. He grew up like writing poetry and stuff. Then he was in the circus. But there's a scene in this movie, and I don't know if it actually happened, but like he's with another poet, and they're like, "Well, we're poets in action, so what we need to do is like live poetically, do some shit that like you would think was fake if somebody wrote about it." So like they walk in one direction on a street until they encounter an obstacle, and then they continue in a straight path and like climb over it. Or if it's a house, they knock on the door and like ask if they can walk through the house so that they can continue on their straight path because they're poets and they're doing poetic action.
You know what? I do
And
actually really like that concept.
I was thinking about it a lot. Yeah, I figured you would. And I don't think I do that too much, but I think I'm aware of like I observe when things are like comedic or like entertaining in that capacity.
Oh yeah, no. Sometimes I feel like sometimes I do things like I would say that sometimes I do things like as what am I trying to say? As described by the what's his name? Jodorowsky?
Jodorowsky.
Jodorowsky. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
With a J.
Yeah.
Alejandro Jodorowsky.
But Jodorowsky would have described them as I sometimes do things because they're poetic actions.
If you want to get into philosophy though, I guess if do you have anything else to say on that? My bad.
Oh no, none at all. I'm grasping for straws.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
Yeah, no, I like it. I feel like we could revisit that at some point. For sure.
Oh, definitely.
Because I feel like it's a pretty I guess a side question. Do you well, I guess it's not really that good of a question, but because I think the answer is obvious. But do you think that like I guess obviously the question I was gonna ask is, do you think that there's like a way of living out there that hasn't been represented in like storytelling? Like there's somebody who there's no analog to like so erratic or like obscure to humans that like it hasn't been captured in writing
like
or
a way
content.
Like a way of living of an individual that could not be accurately represented by I don't know, like artistic
there's no like really close to, because I feel like most of the
close,
big
like
themes,
90%?
not 90%. I don't want to number like
I feel like we have to like put some kind of number on, like maybe not a number, but like a range of a threshold of some kind in order to define close. So I can accurately answer this question.
That was my initial question, but like,
because like
that was my initial question, and there's definitely like I feel like everybody can relate to things in some sort of like
Yeah.
what do you call it? Shit, what's the word that I'm looking in like a really surface level way at least.
Oh, like superficially, yeah.
Like the suffering of others.
Yeah.
So like to that extent. But like obviously there's so many different philosophies that so many people combine and like remix. And that's the thing I more wanted to get into, like my personal philosophies and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, but like really quickly about that question, because I was thinking about that the other day. I feel like, I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, like yeah, to the extent that human action has been like mythologized, you know what I mean, and like boiled down to the archetype and whatnot. I feel like the vast, like a strong 95% of the human experience could in some way or like relatively accurately be represented by like stories that have been told. However, like I feel like there are a lot of I think there are like a lot of questions that haven't been answered in the most articulated way they can be. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about Superman and Batman. I always think about Superman and Batman. That's one of my main things, listeners. I think about Superman and Batman. Anyway,
he has an ass tattooed on his chest.
I wish I actually might at some point. Probably not a big one.
Would you just say
actually,
like a pack?
Yeah, maybe.
One pack instead of the center. Because I feel like the center.
Oh yeah, the center is a weird move.
It's a painful place, but also like kind of bad place for it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely kind of bad for sure.
It's very valuable territory. You're like sternum.
It really is. It really is. But what was I gonna say? I was thinking about like how I feel like a lot of the time when Superman and Batman like fight in comics, you know what I mean? Like, what am I trying to say? You're essentially pitting like two halves of the hero archetype against each other, and I feel like the conclusion.
Well, even them, like they're pretty similar, like pretty solitary.
I mean, I would argue that Superman and Batman are different in very fundamental ways, like super important ways. Like,
go for it.
Like, well, in that, like, what am I trying to say? Well, jeez. Well, okay, so Superman, what am I trying to say? So Superman and Batman both share like a lot of things that like, you know, hero archetypes always have, and that they have like, you know, two sets of parents, heavenly and earthly, right? Like Superman has the Kents, and then he has Jor-El and Laura from Krypton who are dead, right? And then Batman has his he has Alfred, I suppose, who was his real actual parent. And then when he was alive, he had his real actual parents. But like for most of his life, his parents are like an embodied ideal, like, or no, not an embodied ideal, they're like something he swears to. You know what I mean? He like Batman's like Batman has a covenant with his parents the same way Abraham had a covenant with God, I should say.
Also, I guarantee you, I've read very few like comics, but I guarantee you there's some man where he speaks to his dead parents. Oh, I guarantee you it exists. Like somewhere out there in one of the many issues.
Oh, there's like a whole there's like a whole Batman comic where he's like trained, like Bruce Wayne's doing one-arm push-ups at like 14 and he's talking to his dead mother.
Yeah. But
like, he's like, it gets easier. No, he's going crazy.
Yeah. But
I feel like please. I was just gonna say that but like their characters are super different in obviously like Superman's more of like he's what am I trying to say? Superman's he's from a place where being good worked, right? Because before Zod before the denizens of Krypton generally grew like arrogant and willfully blind, specifically embodied in General Zod, drilling the core and whatnot. Well, depending on which canon you go with. Anyway, generally, like the society.
Tell General Zod my planet. It's on no Asgard.
But before the Kryptonians, before they became arrogant and willfully blind, Krypton was like a paradise. It was like heaven on earth. You know what I mean? People never died, and no one ever got sick, etc., etc., etc. You know what I mean?
And Zod just had to sit in the back of the bus.
Oh man, a little bit.
Yeah.
I think depending on the canon you go with, it was to power his war machine.
Yeah.
But
sure, I'll power a war machine with bodies.
But
pure hatred.
pure hatred.
Yeah.
But what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, Superman embodies the idea that being good works because he's from a place where being good worked until they stopped being good, and he's like, hey everyone, if we could just all be good together, then everything would be fine. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Superman's
okay.
message
So
is,
it didn't work for everybody to be good. So
No.
being good didn't work.
I don't think that's accurate.
No,
accurate.
because if everybody was just good in a bubble.
No, they stopped. You're not good, and then you are good forever. Being good's like it's like an act of will. You got to practice every day. You got to do it every day. And if you
okay, but I just feel like I'm not familiar with this comic in particular. Familiar with any of the lore surrounding it, any pressing social issues they might have had, but I generally tend on the side of if there are problems with the society, and the society's like, we're all just good people, and the problems aren't like ameliorated, then your anger is justified, and yeah, and I don't know.
Oh, but
I definitely identify more with him because I hate Superman.
You hate Superman? You hate him?
Fucking lame. He's fucking lame.
He's not fucking lame. He was lame for a while because they made him impossibly strong. But I can link you to if no one has read All Star Superman, like written by Grant Morrison and drawn by Frank Quitely, if I'm not mistaken. You should read that. It's only 12 issues. It's really good.
Look into it.
Look. Yeah. But here, I'll boil it down to a sentence, right? Like, here's the most important difference between Batman and Superman, because I'm really wandering, right? Okay, Superman, what am I trying to say? Superman is the idea of uncorruptible good instantiated in a person, right? Batman is the idea that out of individual effort, uncorruptible good, or what am I trying to say? Oh, no, uncorruptible good can, like, emerge, I suppose I should say. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
they're sort of inverse in that, like, but even so what you're saying is, like, in the Superman well, I guess not what you're saying. What I'm saying is, like, my interpretation of this is that, like, in the Superman paradigm, good emerges out of evil because good needs to be maintained. Whereas Batman's, like, evil is everywhere and good needs to be good needs to be maintained. And, like, yeah, I don't know.
I would say Superman is about cultivating and protecting existing good. Batman is about I would argue that Batman's more about distilling good from the lack thereof, from, like, chaos. Batman's more of an order from chaos kind of guy. Superman's more of a preserving order / making sure order doesn't devolve into tyranny kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but in that, I would argue, like, they're what am I trying to say? I think the conflict between those two types of heroism hasn't exactly been addressed in the most intelligent way possible. Like, like, it's that idea is present in mythology a lot. In that, what am I trying to say? Like, Christ.
I like the chaos of a lot of mythology. Like, things don't necessarily, like when bad things happen, it's kind of like for arbitrary, like with a lot of like Greek mythology and stuff. So, like, it's basically like evil things come because the gods, or like they're petty.
Okay,
I love that. They're like, well, no. Bad things are gonna happen. But it's kind of like, I don't know.
Oh no, like the what am I trying to say? The arbitrary distribution of suffering is like I would argue it's an important aspect of mythology for sure, because suffering is distributed to a certain extent arbitrarily, right? Like, there's a lot you can do to prevent the unnecessary aspects, but sometimes shit just happens.
Vasectomy.
John, kids are good. I would say if you have good kids, kids are good.
If you're good and your kids,
if you're good to your kids are good. Yeah.
If you're good and your good kids are good, kids are good.
I think what am I trying to say? I think Jordan Peterson once once said something along the lines of your relationship with your children is hypothetically the most rewarding possible relationship you can have, because you can keep your relationship with your children pristine, which I think is accurate to a certain extent. in that like
I don't know what he means by pristine.
like pristine in that you can like there is a way to live in which you can harbor no legitimate ill will towards your child, like at all. And I think that's true. Like that doesn't mean not getting mad at them or like not yelling at them or not even like smacking them around every once in a while, right? Well, I'm not for what am I trying to say? I'm not for the smacking around of children. I think Jordan Peterson. I don't know how he feels about smacking around your children. Anyway, right?
I mean, here's the thing though. I feel like even if you like raise your like in a respectable manner and they're good people, I don't feel like even if there's no wrong from you against them, I don't feel like I mean, a lot of parents have like a sort of very controlling relationship with their children where they're like afraid for their kid to like not talk to them again. But like if your parents are just even if they're just like offensively boring, like
yeah,
they don't really do a lot.
I don't know. I would argue that's an aspect of being a bad parent.
Maybe.
I would say being offensive, like, because hear me out. Would you say that an offensively boring person is a shitty person to be around?
I mean, I don't know. If you're gonna draw the line somewhere, definitely.
I mean, you have to draw the line somewhere for sure. But like, if you're, what am I trying to say?
So I feel like they are that line instead of on the side of it is kind of the thing.
Wait, say that again?
I feel like they're kind of on that line rather than on either side of it. If they're just boring. But like well-meaning. But like nothing particularly offensive. Just like they don't, like they just like watch TV shows but don't really think about them or something, or like work a shitty meaningless job.
I think, I mean, to a certain extent, I think that's an aspect of being a bad parent. Like, if you don't have any, what am I trying to say? Like, if you're boring, I think if you're boring, it means you haven't, like, so when you say boring, can we define boring as having nothing interesting to say?
Yeah.
Like, would you accept that as a definition of boring?
I think no original take on anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I would argue that like that lack of original take is because you didn't do anything interesting. And I would argue that not doing anything interesting means that you have zero life lessons to pass to your children. And not having any new information to give to your children is being unprepared as a parent. And I would argue being unprepared as a parent is being a bad parent.
You have new information because
not
all information is new to them.
I mean, well, yeah, but like you don't have, your perspective holds no more value than that of any other person your age. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Basically, what I'm saying is, I don't feel like there's a lot of information Peterson could pass on to me, and I wouldn't want him to.
John, have you watched his content?
The bits that I can stand, and then not at all.
Okay, then I feel like you can't give an accurate representation of how his content is.
I don't talk to my parents because I can't stand them.
Do you think that's because you're bad parents? I'm not trying to throw shade at your parents on the podcast.
Hey, but I have parents.
I have a good one parent. Like I was gonna say, like
you have a good parental figure.
I've lived with her always. Like I didn't change hands ever. So I would call my mom my okay. So for those of you listening, what am I trying to say? My biological mother had me when she was 17 and did not feel, or like she wasn't prepared to be a mother. So I've always since birth, my grandmother took me home from the hospital and I was raised by primarily her and then also my great grandmother.
Quara'e's sister was about 30 years old, and his mom got pounded by a 30-something, and she had him. What Quara'e calls his mom is his mom.
Oh man. Okay. So anyway, what am I trying to say? I was essentially
and then had him. It was a miracle. He was 65 years old. 69 years old, 69 and had Quara'e.
Okay. So I was raised by a single grandmother is the moral of the story. And so functionally a single mother. But I feel as though I was raised adequately, and I would say my mom was a good parent. And that my relationship with my mom is My mom's definitely done things that I wish she hadn't done, but like I don't harbor like any ill will towards my mom, like at all. I don't think.
Oh, I don't
And
harbor a lot of ill will towards my parents. I just don't have really any interest in talking to them.
I think that's the same thing.
But like, here's the thing, right? Wait, no, is it? Wait, is harboring ill will?
I would say in the particular microcosm of your parents, if you're like, I would say that you have a bad relationship. Hold on. I would say you have a bad relationship with your parents if
I have a great relationship with my parents because they're bad people.
I don't know. I don't. I would. Yeah. I don't know. I would.
The healthiest relationship.
Wait, no, I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Oh, for sure. For sure it is. For sure.
Explain. Well, hold on. Explain what you mean again.
It is
You're saying the
healthier for me to not talk to my than it is for me to try and ameliorate them, because doing so would be a waste of my energy. Even
for you, but on the whole.
But on the whole, no, for me is all it is.
I don't think you could make that call.
Yes, it is. Because
if you preface that statement from my subjectivity or in my particular situation.
That's what I said. I said, for me, it is. For me, it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, there. All right.
For me, it's the best thing. For them, it might not be, but it's kind of on them.
Now, John, do you think that's because you have a bad relationship with your parents?
No, I think my relationship with my parents is great, which is why it's non-existent. Or it's non-existent, which is why it's great.
I don't mean your relationship with your specific parents. I mean what am I trying to say? I mean your
what are you trying to say? What do you mean?
You don't like parents on the whole, and we should talk
No, I do like mine are not great. I don't like parents that try and I remember one time I asked my dad, I was like, why can't I just call you your name? And he's like, if you ever do that, don't.
Okay, well, I think that's a dick move, yeah.
And I was like, whoa. I just can't call you like whatever your name is? And he's like, nah. I was like, why? Why? Because you don't want me to like speak to you as an equal? No, okay, no. Well, if you don't want me to speak to you as an equal, you definitely don't want me to talk down to you. But if you don't want me to speak to you as an equal, I'm gonna talk down to you because you don't really have anything like any experience greater than what I have.
Well, yeah. Well, and I think that's an aspect of being a bad parent. I think that's an aspect of being a bad parent.
Yeah. And so what's the value in trying to bad parenthood? I don't think it's valuable or I don't think, what am I trying to say? I don't know that, so in your particular situation, I don't know that you trying to improve your relationship with your parents would be advantageous to you. However, speaking generally about people, your relationships with your family, whether that's the family you came from or the family you create, is like a significant chunk of your life, no matter how you slice it. Oh, yeah, but for sure have more than your family.
Well, yeah, for sure have more in your life than your family, but you're having a family, like whether, like I said, it's the family you come from or the family that you create is a large part of your life, and I don't think you can deny that.
Family you create, you need, and that's good to cultivate, but...
Yeah,
but family, like, as a genetic thing, not that important.
I mean, duh, but family culturally is super important, I would argue.
Oh, for sure, but no. Yeah. If we're getting into the weeds about, what family is, I don't know.
Yeah, wait, how did we get here?
I have no idea.
Because I think we disagree right now.
Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
Oh, as much as I don't like my parents, if he was my parent, I would talk to him less than zero.
If he hold on, if he, my other ones. I don't think that's true. I think you would actually would like.
I would not talk to him. I would not talk to him.
John, I feel like you would like Jordan Peterson way more than you think.
I definitely don't. I definitely don't think I would.
Jeez, I don't know how true that is. I don't know.
Hey, if you want to send me one like a good, very specific lecture of his or something, I'll give it a listen. I'll tell you
what's your time commitment? What's your time commitment? Just any.
What's the longest he goes?
Because you're looking at probably a 2-hour shot, probably.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm trying to find my quick too. Not right now, obviously. Like, don't send it to
No, we're all yeah, all right now.
But yeah. Okay, found a new pen. All good.
How did we get to Jordan Peterson?
Let me see. I don't remember.
We talked about. Oh, we were talking about Batman and Superman, weren't we?
Yeah, probably. Oh yeah. But Batman is like a parental figure. I think in part because he didn't really have parents. Like he's always like a parental figure, like Robin, like Batgirl, not Batgirl, but you know what I mean. Well, yeah, no, Batgirl. Okay, same universe.
Well, like yeah. Well, plus there are like 5 Robins. Well, 6 depending on how you count.
Sure.
Yeah. But what was I gonna say? Oh,
he gets new kids every 3.
Well, kind of. Yeah. He what was I gonna say?
Kills him, puts him in a pit, resurrects him, new kid.
They only did that one time, and he didn't even want to do it. But the thing I was gonna say, I feel like the conflict between Batman and Superman, like as in like trying to figure out which like aspects of the hero ideal are like preferable. I feel like that argument hasn't been had in necessarily the most articulated kind of way. Not to say that like Batman and Superman comics are poorly written, which I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that like they weren't written by like Friedrich Nietzsche or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like maybe like I feel like there may be like I feel like the vast majority of the human experience has been employed by like media of various forms, but there are still questions that could be answered at the highest level or at a higher level than they have.
Yeah. I would like to see, because I would like to think that people that exist today, like especially with the number, there are like some of the most intelligent people now, or at least as intelligent as historical figures, but like more because of the amount of knowledge that they had the capacity to access. So my thought is the smartest people exist now, but it's on the shoulders of giants or whatever.
Yeah, well, because like Leonardo da Vinci was smart when he was alive, but if Leonardo da Vinci had the internet,
he would have just been some shitty kid with like a fucking Instagram page who went to like Juilliard or something at the best.
I was gonna say the opposite.
Oh, not even that.
I was just gonna say that if Leonardo da Vinci had the internet, like I feel like what am I trying to say? I feel like if some of the most brilliant minds who ever lived had access to what am I trying to say? If during the time they were alive, the barrier to access to information were as low as it is now, we would live in a bananas world. And I guess we do live in a bananas world, so that has kind of come true.
Mm-hmm.
In that Yeah, and that what am I trying to say? Like computers are quote intelligence and conscientious multipliers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They make you way smarter than you are, and it's way easier to work hard on a computer. Or well, I suppose they make it so you don't have to do a lot of work.
Oh yeah, but my point being, I think that if there was going to be sort of a coverage of those like story archetypes that haven't existed yet, like that aren't archetypes yet, I feel like the potential for those to exist is now more than ever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's probably also some like I don't think that we can really accurately depict the lives of people who existed in prehistory because of the capacity of something valuable my uncle who I don't like said.
Uncle Jam.
What's up?
I was giving your uncle a fake name. Uncle Jam.
Uncle Jam, yeah. Uncle Jam was talking to his name's Uncle Smuckers. Uncle Smuckers is talking about
he's just smucking around, talking about
he was smucking around, and he said basically like, because I was critiquing some aspect of. And he's like, oh no, all of history is a myth, and it's just up to historians to interpret that myth. But the way he interprets things is fucking wrong. Because like we were talking about like I don't remember what it was, but the thing that comes to my mind is like the Eden myth, like where we disagree. And I think the most valuable interpretation of it is like, because basically like Jewish people have a pretty long, like extensive oral history that extends beyond when they had writing.
Yeah.
Which is why oral traditions exist.
Mm-hmm.
Holla, fuck blowjobs. Holla, fuckhead. Holla, oral traditions. But but basically like Eden, like the story of Eden is very agricultural centered, at least in the translation that exists currently. And so like basically it's pretty it's pretty undebatably in some capacity about the transition from like no cultures like hunter gatherers into like agricultural society with like the whole agricultural revolution, because humans existed in like not everybody transitioned at once. And I like the Jews were not the first people to transition. And so like basically like the story of Cain and Abel, Cain is like a farmer and Abel is like a hunter gatherer. And
Oh, well, he's a shepherd.
what's up? Yeah, well, a shepherd,
Yeah,
but not necessarily. Like he has animals, but that could just mean like he tames animals, or like he corrals them, or he hunts them. Like, because yeah,
I mean,
I think agriculture. I'm pretty sure agriculture was developed for what do you call it? Like animal domestication, but I'm not quite sure on that one. I'm pretty sure like even when animal domestication was in its early stages, people were hunting on the side. Shit. Okay, I thought I lost my vape. Oh, I also vape. Big truth.
I was
You
going to
vape.
say, I also vape. Need to find one.
Yeah, but yeah. Basically like the whole like getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden, where fruit is just like easily available. You're basically just eating like the shit that's around, to like once they get kicked out, they have to toil for the food and they feel pain and all that.
Oh,
It's a pretty accurate representation of the transition from like hunter gatherers to agriculture. And also like the thought was like hunter gatherers, the reason Cain killed Abel was because he had developed like an establishment of property with his agriculture, whereas Abel, who was still like hunting or whatever, was like, oh, it's just all here for all of us. But he's like, no, 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 you stole my fucking wheat or whatever, or some shit like that. And he's like, basically like the cultural difference between like understanding of individual property and like, yeah, not.
Oh, interesting. I don't know if I don't know. That seems like, what am I trying to say? I've heard what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? I've heard
there's at least an element of that within it, because I mean obviously like it has been edited so many times and redacted and stuff like that it's very hard to like pinpoint, but like those themes have stayed there throughout. So
I was gonna say like that sounds like what am I trying to say? That sounds like it like I'm not familiar with that particular interpretation, but like I'll say superficially it sounds like it could be valid, you know what I mean? But the interpretation I am more familiar with is like the that particular story being a dramatization of the dawn of human consciousness, in that like eating from the tree of what am I trying to say, of knowledge of good and evil gives what am I trying to say? Like it's like an allegory of like the dawn of like self-awareness, for lack of a better term, in that like humans have like we know that we like very clearly defined boundaries in space and time, in that, you know, we're gonna die, like and whatnot, and like, you know, we'll feel, and like the what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? And the suffering therein is essentially related to the idea that like, okay, like, so like animals, for example, like wolves or something like that. A wolf could kill like a moose, or like a pack of wolves could kill like a moose or whatever, right? And they can really eat that moose, right? But they're not going to put any of that meat anywhere to save for later, right? And one could argue maybe this because they can't, whatnot, right? Just the idea that what am I trying to say? That that the way to live in the long term is to sacrifice the pleasures of the immediate for what am I trying to say? Like reward in the long term, and that a large aspect of, well, like that sucks. I guess is what I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I feel like you would say. What am I trying to say? I feel like you would say that that's a bit what am I trying to say? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I feel like you would have some kind of grievance with that exact interpretation.
I mean,
not
here's
like
the thing. I don't necessarily have that interpretation because, like I said, basically the nature of, especially like religious myth, is that each it's a compounded iteration, and you don't get to see the edit history.
Oh, exactly.
And so you can have reinterpretations and different philosophies sort of imprinted on top of, while still including elements of other philosophy. That was some other shit I wanted to get into. I don't know how much. I mean, we're no biblical scholars. None of us can speak like Hebrew or anything. But
that's true.
But yeah, and
If you could
definitely
speak
the
Hebrew, it's
original
kinda hot,
texts
for sure.
do not exist.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what did you say? Something
Oh,
hot?
I was gonna. Oh, fly honeys. If you could speak Hebrew, it's definitely hot.
Definitely not.
You don't think it's attractive to be able to speak Hebrew?
I mean,
And
I don't
not
feel like
inherently.
it sounds that good. I don't feel like it sounds
No,
that
it's not
good.
about the sound. It's about the skill.
Oh, but it's. I mean, here's the thing. If it's a skill, I mean, I don't know. If
I mean,
it's a
are there
skill,
harder?
learn a better language. Learn a better language.
It's half. I think it's half skill, half dedication to. I think it's half skill, half dedication to faith. Because, well, like I don't blanket respect dedication to faith, but dedication period is kind of impressive.
I like Ari
And like
Shafir because he speaks like Hebrew because he was like a Hasidic Jew for a while, and he went to like seminary school for that or whatever like the Jewish equivalent is, and he like uses that to critique it, which I love.
Yeah.
Like apparently there's some sort of there's like a dragon at some point in like the Torah, but like the dragon is allegedly like an allegory for like masturbation. So it's like the dragon eats all these young boys. Like he was talking like one of his professors about it, and the professor was like, "Oh no, they're talking about little kids beating their dick, and causing mischief, throwing rocks through trailer windows like a bunch of fucking sociopaths."
Oh wait, hold on, John. I gotta what am I trying to say? I know we're recording a podcast, but I have to go. I got a stressful text message, and I have to go wash my hands.
Okay. All right. So while we're just sitting here waiting for him to wash his hands, let's talk about washing hands. Actually, so my personal philosophy on that if you wash your hands often, and like I mean like really more than like after a major event, your immune system is going to be compromised because you're not getting that fucking bacteria exposure.
What are we talking about?
Oh, I was just talking about how I don't really like I wash my hands, but like only after major events, really. Like because I feel like it's healthier to like expose yourself to bacteria rather than to like remove it all. Also, people with hand sanitizer on the regular are disgusting.
Oh no, because it really fucks up your Oh yeah, like constantly cleaning your hands definitely fucks up your like skin bacteria.
Oh yeah, just putting like 99% isopropyl alcohol on your skin.
No, that is a situation.
Oh, but yeah, personal
a lot of medical professionals do
general.
that.
What's up?
Oh, I was gonna say a lot of medical professionals do that, like hand sanitizer all the time, and it fucks up your hands. It really does.
Well, all you really have to do is like sanitize your gloves. Really, I mean, wash your hands, sanitize your gloves. Like, because I've seen that, like where like tattoo artists and stuff will like put on like wash their hands, put on their gloves, and then sanitize them in case there was any like residue.
Yeah.
But then you just replace your gloves when they get like when they wear thin or like after a time period.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The reason I wash my hands at a super high frequency. Like I wash my hands maybe like at least once every hour. I think that's actually probably pretty accurate. It's just because I'm very sensitive about the texture of my hands. Like if I feel like something's on them, like if I feel like there's a film on my skin, I have to get rid of it. It bothers me.
I'll splash hot water on it. I'll rinse my hands, but like proper like soap and soap scrub under the nails washing is like less regular. It's more like, is there something schwitzy on my hand? I'll run out under until that thing's off, but like not like.
I only get like a full wash. Like I maybe fully wash my hands maybe like 4 times a day. The other times are pretty cursory, but I still get a good lather on.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, personal philosophy. It might be too much to get into right now, but I started.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I was gonna say. We should definitely like segue into something super interesting.
Yeah, my personal philosophy. You know, like when you're picking your teeth with a toothpick, I like to.
But I like to make sure I get napkins before I leave a food establishment.
I like to sterilize in between scrapes, so I'll do one tooth, wipe it on a napkin, sterilize. No, but personal philosophy. I try sort of like a take on hedonism. I'd say, where like this is your life, so everything in your life should exist to the capacity that it gives you pleasure, but like it's not pleasure in like the classical hedonistic sense, and I feel like it might be actually. There's definitely a lot of like people definitely interpret hedonism as selfish, like inherently, even though I mean I think that every action is sort of inherently selfish, even if it's like positive. A lot of that is due to like the sort of biochemical response of like.
I mean, ish. I mean, I don't know that you can boil it down that far. I think I mean, there's utility in boiling it down that far sometimes.
I think everything you do is in some capacity. Even if your only self-interest is like I want to save, not self-interest in like I want the glory of like saving a kid from a building, but if you're like, oh, the self-interest of if I let that kid die in that building, I can't live with myself, like in that capacity.
I think what am I trying to say? I think you're peeling back more layers than are necessary. Because I feel like, what am I trying to say? I feel like in okay, so what am I trying to say? I'm not trying to throw around any good Samaritan clout, right? But like the other day, I was walking inside from I don't know, I forget what I was eating outside. I was outside. I was walking inside with like 3 other dudes, right? And we were just gonna like go directly from inside upstairs to that dude's room, right? And then this one person was like, "Hey, do you have a second?" And I was like, "Why?" They were like, "Can you help us carry these groceries in?" And I was gonna be like, And I thought about it for a second because I didn't want to at all because I was going somewhere, right? And the other dudes I was with kept going, and I was like, "How many groceries do you have?" And they were like, "Some." And then I decided to solely like not because what am I trying to say? Not because I wouldn't have been able to live with myself if I hadn't done so, but because I suppose how I like the immediate thought that came to my
might be too much, but like, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I don't know. Yeah, like where do you draw the line between like serving yourself and adhering to rules that you set for yourself?
I mean, yeah, adhering to rules that you set for yourself, because in some capacity, I mean, you set the rules for a reason.
Yeah, but like that, like the reasons could be because that's a good way to live, as opposed to that's good for me.
I mean, but that's like, a good way to live is you presumably some philosophy that you value, that it makes you happy.
I mean, not necessarily. Like if it like here's a hypothetical example, right? Like if it's within your rules to exercise a certain amount every week, right? Like we live in the modern day, right? So physical strength is not super advantageous, right? And one could make an argument for like, having a higher quality of life when you're more physically fit, or like preserving your fluid IQ into your old age as much as you can by remaining physically healthy, right? But you don't need to be physically fit at all nowadays. You can definitely get by and live a good life without it. You know what I mean? But some people have rules that say I exercise this much all the time, no matter what. You know what I mean? And I would argue that's not necessarily a pleasure thing.
I don't know. I think it definitely is pleasure related because of just like the undeniable like benefits of exercise, like on the like even if it's like it's gonna make me live longer or something. I don't think that there's anybody who's like, I'm gonna exercise because that, like, unless it's even like the people who do steroids, because they don't exercise for the health of it.
I mean, they exercise for, like, I don't know. I'm not talking about those people. I suppose I should say.
I was gonna say, like, that's the more interesting example, because I feel like there's almost nobody who exercises. Because if you exercise and you're not really doing anything and you're just doing it for like the clout of exercising, like just so that when other people are like, "Oh, did you lose weight or something?" you can be like, "Oh yeah, no, I lifted like ankle weights at the gym or something, or like I wore a pedometer so I can keep track of my steps." I think it's all like some social signaling that you do to make yourself happy, or you just do it to make yourself happy without the social signaling.
I don't like, I think our disagreement is in the to make yourself happy part. Like, I feel like the pleasure of the, like, because, like, I would argue that a lot of the things, maybe the majority of things people do are for their individual pleasure, but, like, I don't think you can deny the idea of, like, being devoted to a cause for the cause. You know what I mean?
But I don't know. Nobody's devoted to a cause for the cause without that cause also bringing them some sort of like greater value, even if it's not like straight up happiness, like satisfaction that in some capacity is happiness.
Well, I think you would call that meaning.
Yeah, and I think that meaning, if meaning makes you happy.
No, it's not. I don't think it's about being happy. I don't think it's about pleasure.
You don't think meaning has like why do you think people go for meaning?
I think, well, what am I trying to say? Okay, so while the polar opposite to living a thoroughly meaningful life might be living what am I trying to say? A dismal, soul-crushing life devoid of meaning, right? And those dismal, soul-crushing things are like the void of pleasure, right? I would argue that living in a meaningful. I would argue that I would argue that, well, one, in this argument, in the particular microcosm of this conversation, I would argue that living meaningfully adds more to you than just being happier than you would otherwise. And two, I would argue, like, as to what we were talking about before, like in the microcosm of being devoted to causes, I would argue that just because the cause helps you doesn't mean that it doesn't help other people more. That, like, you know, like if you were going for just your individual pleasure, or your individual success, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I think there are, what am I trying to say? I think there are way more efficient ways to do it. Like, I don't think you can argue that anyone's entirely self-serving, or even, like, in some of their actions, majority self-serving. I don't think you can make that argument.
I disagree. I disagree.
How so?
I don't know. So when you were saying, like, even if it doesn't, like, even if it benefits, like, even if your actions benefit other people, I think that just the fact, I mean, the fact that it benefits other people more makes it so that it sort of benefits, like, let's use like the example of like
well, oh yeah, please continue. Finish your example. My bad.
Let's use the example of like political organizing or something, like getting people to like collectively bargain rather than individually. Like, yes, you might have a better experience at, like, if you're getting paid better and you're more fairly compensated for your labor. But if other people, like, even if they aren't doing the same work as you, right, and they don't really deserve on pay, like, if you're going with the philosophy that like raises should be earned rather than something people are entitled to, I think that it doesn't make sense. Like, as long as they're still bringing more, getting paid, they should be getting paid more of that value. And the fact that, like, once they're getting paid more of their value, the, like, whole workplace is going to have a better, like, I mean, I guess it would probably depend on the workplace, of course, because there's definitely business models that are less cost effective than, like, basically, like, there's no cost at which they could operate where the people are happy with what they get paid for for like the how shitty the job is. Related, I don't think that if a job if a job can't pay its employees enough to be there, it shouldn't exist. Unless it's like a utility or something that everybody publicly funds, like outside, basically. There might be some example I'm not thinking of, but I'd say as a general rule, yeah.
That example is a little difficult for me to respond to in that I'm not saying your example's poor because of this. I'm just saying I don't like how you commodified it because like that makes it difficult for me. Like I think in the
why? Because you love money.
No. I like money. I love money, right? But in the employer-employee setting, what am I trying to say? Like, jeez. I feel like okay. Can I offer an alternate example?
Sure.
Okay. So let's say your problem, right, is that you live in a place without water.
A place without water, yeah.
Like let's say like your village or whatever. Let's assume you live in a village, right? Let's say your village doesn't have water, right? Okay, so there are options, right? You know what I mean? There are like die of thirst, which isn't great.
What's up? What was the first one? Die of thirst, not great.
I was gonna die of thirst isn't great, right? You could leave and find water, which is great for you, but you have to go somewhere. Right, which like is a kind of a bummer, but like there's no way you're going to get out of this problem without expending effort, and like expending effort is a pretty good trade for like not dying. Okay, so like, but then, or you could like, let's say you could dig a well or whatnot, and then everyone would have water. Right. Okay. Now let's say, what am I trying to say? Let's say in the particular microcosm of this situation, no one would know that you dug the well either, right? I would argue that most people, what am I trying to say? I would argue that a lot of people, maybe not most, would take the well option, in that even though it's a high upfront cost to yourself, right? And you will the resources will be more scarce for you not more scarce than they were already, but scarcer for you than if you just had found water somewhere. Right? You know what I'm trying to say? Does that make sense?
I think that's a bad example because assuming that the sort of like the economic threshold of like walking the distance is greater than the operating cost of digging the well, and since even if it's equal or like the distance is shorter, if the operating cost in digging the well is better for yourself than walking every single day, you're going to do it because you're just going to expend less energy, and then you don't have to fight for food or something. So that's why I think that's a bad example.
Okay, that is fair. That is fair. But
building a sustainable model, expending $3 every day on Grubhub for water.
No, I mean when I say leave, and I meant like leave, like go. I'm like
leave. You should. If there's no well, or like no capacity for a well, you should fucking leave.
Well, let's say you don't know that there's a capacity. Okay, here, let me phrase this as a hypothetical question then, right? Okay, you live in a village, there's no water, you could either dig a well or leave the village forever in search of water. Which one would you do?
I would leave the village forever.
Why?
And I would encourage other people to come with me because there's no fucking water there.
Why would you not try and dig a well? Because then everyone could have water.
A well is still like throwing water like a fucking roaring fire. Like,
I'm sorry.
If lack of access to is a problem, it's not your only problem, because you're also going to be nutrient deficient because plants aren't going to grow, and even if plants do grow, it's going to be like a very select amount and particularly diverse diet. So you should move along.
Okay, so this is what am I trying to say? That's not a great example either. Or well, hold on. Okay, so let's say what if you're a wanderer type? Because we're both kind of wanderer types. If you were to wander into a community in which they didn't have water, and let's say you were wandering in the purest sense, in that you didn't have shit to do at all, right?
Yeah, so I'm like free of consequence, thirst.
Yeah. You're free. What am I trying to say? You're free of the burdens of already not having water, and also free of consequences related to them not having water, right? Are you saying that, like, hypothetically? Jeez. What am I trying to say?
If they don't have consequences for not having water, I'm digging them a fucking well.
No, if you don't have consequences for them not having water.
Well, here's the thing. If I like dig the well, but they're like, oh, we don't drink well water or some shit. They're like, oh no. We walk because
no one doesn't drink well water.
What's up?
I said no one doesn't drink well water.
I don't.
And that's because you've never needed a well.
Exactly.
We have better options.
Because I live.
Wait, John,
What's up?
I didn't hear were you saying stuff for the past 3 seconds?
Because I live where the fucking water is.
Okay, that's a fair point. What am I trying to say?
And if I didn't, I would try and get to a place where there was fucking water, and I would fight tooth and claw to get to that.
Okay, I think what I'm trying to get at is I'm asking if I don't think you believe in okay, so for our listeners, one of the main differences between me and John is that John, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that you don't believe in the concept of doing good things because good things are the right thing to do.
I think that doing the right thing, doing things that are good are done because you value the philosophy of doing good.
Okay, so John,
the labor required to do it.
Okay, allow me to restate that. You don't believe in the concept of good and evil.
I don't believe in objective good and evil.
I don't think the objective is. I would argue that the objective isn't real. It's something that we infer from the subjective.
Yeah, it's sort of like an operation based. It's like a quantification, like a bell curve of like a cross section of a bell curve of aggregates of people's subjective morality, basically.
I mean, yeah, but you're never going to not be around people with subjective moralities to aggregate. The human environment is primarily other people.
Could, but you could, though. Cabin in the Woods, you could, though.
Doesn't mean you. I don't think that's practical. I think when people live. What am I trying to say? I think when people live like good and evil aren't real, societies don't work. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, here's the thing. I disagree because when people live here's the thing, right? What's Godwin's law or whatever. So even if you believe in just some real hardcore what's the word I'm looking for? Like Holocaust, but in general.
Not, just atrocities.
Like atrocities, yeah, sure. You believe in atrocities against very specific subgroups of people. I think everybody, to some extent, like pedophiles or something. But yeah, something like that. I mean, even
I mean, I don't
people
think
that are pacifists. I don't think that's in self-defense. They're not.
I don't think that's a belief thing. I think that's just a capacity of humans. I think you're putting that too high in complexity of abstraction. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know.
I think that saying that. What am I trying to say? How do you define atrocities against certain subgroups of people, right? Because if I'm defending myself against someone else, I don't think that's an atrocity. I mean, I think that's violence for sure. And sometimes
sure. What I was gonna say, the example, Godwin's law or whatever. When societies believe that killing all those Jews is good, I don't like it. Even I think that it's dangerous to categorize everything into objective, even if it's socially objective as an aggregate of people's individual subjective attitudes on something. I feel like it's more dangerous to have uniformity on that than it is to have no uniformity, because I feel like it's harder for people to critique sort of a giant blockade. It's better to have a lot of different competing ideas than it is to have one solid moral good. Even if in most societies most things are agreed upon like that, I feel like it's better to have a rather diverse, ununiform thing.
I wouldn't say like rather. I don't know if I would put like, you know what I mean? Like, because what am I trying to say? I don't think if your value structures, and I say value structures, I mean things that are good to do and things that are like evil to do. I think if your value structures don't mostly line up with those of everyone you're around, I don't think you can interact with them. Because like, how do you be like, okay, so let's say like, you can be a good neighbor or a bad neighbor, right? And you be a good neighbor by doing good things to your neighbor, or at least good things within the bounds of the neighbor context, right? And if you disagree what is good within the neighbor context, you can't be a reliable good neighbor to someone.
Yeah, you know, my neighbor keeps suck my dick, and I'm like, hey, neighbor. Hey, neighbor. You should pay your rent. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'd agree that you shouldn't live around them. But like, well, to some extent, like as long as there's some sort of capacity, because I feel like even if you don't, yeah, I don't know. I just don't agree with like a totality, I guess. Like I don't agree that society should have universal moral goods and moral evils. I think that there should just be like maybe like a solid subgroup of moral goods and moral evils, and then a pretty diverse thing on top of it.
I mean, I think, what am I trying to say? I think there should be, what am I trying to say? I mean, as far as, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? As far as like humans go, I suppose all humans are on the sliding scale, right? Like, you know, we're all like somewhere, we're all probably mostly not great. I imagine we're all in the category of not great. And then some of us are pretty good, right? But as far as actions go, I think you need to have like, what am I trying to say? At least some moral absolutes. And I feel like that's kind of what the law is an embodiment of.
I think most people are mostly fine.
I mean, well, how do you mean fine?
Like that, most people operate in relation to other humans.
Wait, say that sentence one more time. You cut out for a second.
Most people operate within a system that is mostly acceptable to other humans. Like at least ignorable if they're.
Oh, but that's not what I mean exactly.
All right.
When I say most people are not great, I mean if what am I trying to say? I would like if most people had the ability to like meaningfully affect the lives of everybody, then, or at least everyone within their like country, let's say, you know what I mean? Then I would argue that effect for most would be not great. I'm not saying it would be terrible, right? Like I'm not saying everyone's Hitler, but without Hitler's power, right?
So yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. That's kind of what I was saying. Like if everybody, like if any individual enforced like their individual, like in totality enforced every aspect of their individual thoughts on something, it would not look good for most people because most people don't operate within that context. Most people operate within a context. We agree on like, don't kill me, don't eat me shit. But like, once it comes to other things, we'll have our grievances. But we'll usually be like, I'm sorry you feel that way about it. Like, I just won't talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And I think, yeah. But, yeah, I'd say like as a whole, my sort of general take tends to be like a positivist hedonism, like so like yeah, hedonism, but like not in a self-serving context. I mean, it's
so
self-serving.
You're not like you're a loose hedonist. You're not a strict hedonist.
Oh yeah, sure. It's like basically like even the bad things that happen to most people like aren't necessarily that bad. And I like most of like when I fucking stub my toe or some shit and I like jump around and I'm like fuck. I almost like my next like that might be my first like visceral reaction, but my next reaction is almost laughing at how absurd that must be to anybody who saw it. Like,
oh yeah.
Or like I think about just head kicking people lined up walking in front of me, and then immediately I burst into giggles. like, well, wow, the thin veneer of social conformity is a thin veneer.
Yeah, a thin veneer.
But, yeah. Like I think Bill Burr has a great bit about like he's like, are you ever just driving down the road and you think
That is a good bit. That's a really good one.
Like driving by a crowded sidewalk and you like think.
Oh yeah, just tilting your wheel a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like give it about 15 degrees to the right. Wait for 30 seconds and just.
Yeah, I got a dip pretty soon, but I think
Okay.
that's a good place to bring it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I would.
People are good based on yeah, we can definitely revisit this because it's complex, and I definitely
for sure.
I don't have a concrete philosophy. I just have like sort of certain things that I sort of like truisms that I like to revisit.
I don't know. I don't know. Do you think? I don't know. Like knowing me, would you say that the philosophy I adhere to is more strict than yours? I mean,
I don't think you adhere to your philosophy.
How do you mean?
I guess in the same capacity. I don't know. Yours might be more strict, but I don't know that yours. I feel like yours is more a goal and less representation of the actual life you live.
I would agree. I would agree to a certain extent. I would maybe I would 49% agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily mean by that, but
yeah.
What I mean is my brownies they've been in the oven for an hour and a half. Or maybe not. They might not be cooked at all.
Oh no.
Let's do a live update. I'm just gonna bring you to the kitchen. Oh wait,
do it.
Work.
Oh no.
Because I'm on. But so yeah, people just
so I guess
hear you for a second. So anything you have to say? While I check on these brownies that I can't smell them.
Oh yeah. I don't know. How do we wrap this up?
Honestly, here's fine. I'm John.
I'm Quara'e.
This will be better in the future, but mostly the same.
Yeah. Mostly this technically better. Maybe we get a little tighter in structure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But as far as
definitely have some segments. Let's just do some real quick music art plugs. Anything you want to recommend people check out, or anything from the podcast that you want make sure they go back to.
Geez, if you, I would listen to the I believe it's the newest Ty Siegel album. It's called Deforming Lobes. It's pretty good if you're into I guess rock music. I don't know how genres work really. I feel like genres are kind of horseshit anyway.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna write that down because we should get into that.
Yeah.
It's not really because I can't really. But yeah, I feel like we more or less agree on.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, genres are not. They're not useful. They're not useful categories. There's so much music, and I feel like genres would be useful when you would only hear 60 songs in your life. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Like genres were good when the Beatles
before
were
the internet. Yeah.
But yeah, not even then, because at that point jazz and stuff had been jazz and rock had already been incorporated from other cultures. Other being not the fucking Beatles.
True.
But yeah.
There's too much music.
Yeah.
Well, too much music.
Yeah. Music sort of develops in geographic isolation. The fact that we are no longer that geographically isolated because of things like the internet. Definitely. Yeah, I don't even want to get into it. Definitely developed everything back together. I'll just really quickly plug one of my favorite Instagram artists, Guyaton. Shit's banging. That's at Guyaton, Guyaton. Yeah, I had to spell that out like I was in a spelling bee. Do spelling bees have pause limits? I'm sure they have time limits, but do they have can you pause in between letters trying to figure?
Oh, for 15 seconds? No, I don't know.
You're not a spelling bee dude. All right, I'll say check out Zanny anything from Billie Eilish's new album. If you have a hot take on or a good alternate, even if it's a total conspiracy theory, like my thought that Zanny is all about how she does lots of drugs, but she pretends that she doesn't because her mom listens. If you have anything like that, hit me up. Let me know. respond, comment. We'll have an email soon. This won't be up until we at least have a name, but
Yeah,
that
I
might be
was
the
gonna
next
say.
podcast. Holler at
Right.
your boy.
Holler at ya.
Peace.
Peace out.